Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 20. We are live.
We're live?
I literally told you the intro was rolling. We're live. But yes, episode 20 of the Fully Rendered Podcast. That's 2-0.
So many.
That is so many. We've made it. I feel like if you can't get past 10, your podcast is going to die. And we've doubled that figure. So we're immortal by definition.
Yeah. We're twice as alive.
We are twice as alive. So today's episode, it's pretty easy in terms of agenda because there's 4 things that pretty much dominate the first half and the second half, and then we've got a wee bit of filler. We've got a special announcement to make, but we're gonna wait a wee bit before we go into it. I think. Does that sound good for you guys?
Sounds good for me.
I don't understand what you said, so yes.
Banana hammock. I agree. So let's go into the first topic. The first topic is the Game Awards. They've made the announcement for their nominees. I believe there are 31 categories in total. About 4 of them are esports related, so big who cares. But there's been some discourse, and I thought we should get involved with the discourse, but also discuss who we think will win, not who we want to win, but who we think will win and why. In a lot of cases, it's going to be, why aren't you saying Baldur's Gate? Why aren't you saying Baldur's Gate? And it's like, yeah, we know that one's going to win, but obviously to make things interesting, to make the conversation more than it's going to be Baldur's Gate, we want to talk about. Yeah, exactly.
I'm also going to be voting live, and I think Pulp is too.
Yeah, we're both going to be voting live because I forgot to vote, and this actually was a good opportunity just because we're going to look through all of the categories as we go. So
I've been busy painting really tiny men with guns. So.
Little tiny men with guns. Many men.
Many tiny men with guns.
And some of them have books.
Some of them have books. They are well read, allegedly. But in the meantime, let's start with Game of the Year. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. The nominees are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. So what do we think of these nominations?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
First. So when I was looking through the Game of the Year, I was thinking to myself that Alan Wake 2 and Spider-Man 2, literally, I guess Wonder as well, like they all just came out. Do you think that's long enough for you to determine if whether or not you feel that would be Game of the Year material?
Personally, I would say yes. I believe the cutoff is usually for like November, like a month before, like November 7th.
You as a player. Like I was more arguing because like I finished Alan Wake 2, by the way. Mm-hmm. Excellent game. I do not believe it's Game of the Year material.
Well, I think there's enough time to play Alan Wake 2. Mm-hmm. It just came out. There's probably not enough time to play the entirety of Spider-Man 2 and people care about story, but I think you can get enough of the game.
That's more what I was asking. Like, do you feel like as a gamer yourself, and this is something I always like try to ask myself when it comes to voting for categories like this, is do you feel you've had enough of an experience where you can, because like, you know, when like reviewers were sometimes like, you know, what was it, the Cuphead reviewer who got stuck on the tutorial, obviously we're not to that extent, but like a little anecdote is my brother used to do game reviews like years ago. This was like way back before like streaming and everything was a thing, when he was like in his 20s. Right. And I think like the requirement was he was 2 hours to play the game in order to like formulate an opinion. Yeah. And obviously this is not the same, but I'm more wondering, so I always give at least 2 hours to a game myself to at least see if I can kind of get latched on. However, I was more thinking like Spider-Man 2 is, I know, a massive game, like massive. And when I was playing Alan Wake 2, I actually was saying to my chat that I wanted to walk back a couple of my opinions a little bit. Just primarily like in more of a gameplay stance. But it wasn't until I was playing the game more that I was like, oh, maybe I don't like the combat that much. Right. You know, that's all I was asking. Just wanted to generate a little like.
I think if Baldur's Gate 3 came out when Alan Wake did, that is not enough time to judge if it's Game of the Year.
I agree fully.
Yeah. But for Alan Wake, I think that's enough time.
Yes. Okay.
And Spider-Man 2 as well, because
it's been out for like a month. Did you say?
It's one of them PlayStation games where the story is okay.
Yeah.
You're not playing Spider-Man because you want the story. You want to be Spider-Man, right? And I think that's enough
Right.
time for
Yeah.
Spider-Man. And Resident Evil 4 remake's been out a while.
Well, yeah, and I love that game. It's fantastic. It's a wonderful remake. I don't know about Game of the Year though.
To answer your previous question, I would say obviously that depends on the game. Baldur's Gate 3, as Peachy mentioned, if that came out a month ago, you'd be going, "Oh shit," kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
well, that's why I asked, because like since 3 of the contenders. Sorry to cut you off, because 3 of the contenders just recently came out, literally last month.
Yeah,
and that was something that was surprising to me. And the one that I zeroed in on personally was Spider-Man 2, because of how large of a game it is. And I agree with Peachy about Baldur's Gate. If Baldur's Gate had just come out, I don't think I would have had a long enough time spent with the game to fully appreciate it. And like, because like the more I feel like as I've played it since it's come out, and like made multiple game files and been like, oh wow, there's like cool, more like there's new stuff, I've gained a lot more appreciation for it, especially noticing like the attention to detail within the game. It's just a wonderfully crafted game.
There are some games, like you were talking about Alan Wake, that the more you play them, the luster does fade a bit.
Right. And the thing with Alan Wake, like the way I was bringing that up is as for when it comes to story progression, atmosphere, there's an awesome part I think you two would like, especially Peachy. There's a musical scene in it where you play through a musical.
Well, the one who famously hates musicals would love that.
I think you'd like it. I don't know why. I had a feeling you would like it.
All right.
Because it's just wonderfully crafted. Like the way, like how much care and attention went to it, and you could tell like all of the live action. They like layered live action in with the gameplay. And it's just such a fun sequence. And I don't know. I feel like if you don't like musicals, you would still appreciate it. But like while I was playing, like I was getting more appreciation for the atmosphere, more for like the graphics, and like, or not just with the like just the way it was presented to me. Like I said, with the layering of live action, the only thing I would want to walk back was I was realizing I didn't really care for the gameplay. Like the combat's just kind of like, it's not my favorite. Like bullet spongy sometimes, and there would be times where like if combat came up, you would actually like kind of like dread it. Like the amount of times I would have all my my resources be drained in like one encounter, and I was just like, oh my god. So that's why I was saying like I kind of wanted to walk back that like that opinion is that the combat not my favorite, especially since I played some Control right after. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. I have heard it's the weakest aspect of the game, but people are very forgiving of it because of how well everything else
thematically I feel it fits thematically, but because I think there was someone else in my chat was playing it while I was playing it, and I asked like, what are your thoughts on the combat, and they even said like, and I quote, like less than to be desired. So like not ideal. I think it was like not ideal. So that's why I said like Alan Wake, I really like Alan Wake a lot. Fantastic game. Probably not Game of the Year for me.
Right, that's fair. One game on here that has caused a little bit of controversy is Resident Evil 4, because it's a remake. How do we feel about that? Like, it's not a remaster, to be clear. It's a remake.
It's a full remake. It's a full remake, and I don't think that matters. They did such a good job. It feels like a completely different game, even though it's familiar.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the inherent problem is remaking games instead of making new games.
It's kind of cheaping like the. What do you think?
But the same amount of work is going into this as would go into a new game. It's just they've got a wealth of stuff. So people
probably think that it's like a cheapen, because it's already pre-made, it's already existing. So they didn't like, there wasn't a lot. I think that there was a lot of artistic changes in the game too, because
everything I've seen of it, it's a remake. It's definitely not a remaster with tweaks.
It's not the same game at all. Like, I mean, the only thing was, while playing it as a fan of the series, was like I knew what to expect I knew what was going to happen in the story because I've already played it. But they did enough changes that I was legitimately scared when the regenerators showed up. There was U3, which was taken out from the main game. They put it in a DLC, and it was not as fucking painful to play through as it was in the original. So I actually ended up enjoying that sequence. It was a lot more fun. I think it's worthy of being here.
Yeah, that's fair.
For sure.
The main argument that I've seen has been, oh well, it's not an original story, it's the same story. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, sure, they didn't redo the writing, but literally
There's 3 stories in the entire world. Nothing's a new story at this point.
It's all like
yeah, that's the argument.
She's turning it to me. She's getting annoyed with bullshit.
Had it been a remaster, I think we would be having a different conversation. But because it is a remake, I think it's fine. Another bit of controversy is that Starfield hasn't been nominated. Personally, I think that's on point. It shouldn't have been nominated because I don't think it's a Game of the Year contender. I think it's a very good game, or has the potential to be a very good game, but it's being overshadowed by a billion amazing games coming out this year.
Yeah, it's been like, despite
this is a difficult year.
Itself, it's been a good year.
Yeah.
It's been gamers, not for developers.
Yeah, for sure. I was even saying, like, I've said it to myself multiple times and to Kevin, that this is like it's been a very expensive year for gamers because inflation aside.
Yes.
But there's so many excellent games that come out, and one criticism, and this is such a petty criticism,
like a first world problem.
That's why I'm saying it's not that serious. Is that sometimes I don't get an opportunity to really enjoy a game, like some of the releases that have come out, because so many new things have come out. Like I just like Mario RPG just came out, and I haven't had a chance to play that because I also want to play The Last Faith, which just came out.
Right.
And I'm like,
yeah.
like
Streamer problems.
It's a first world petty, very, very petty complaint.
Yeah.
But
do we think there is an aspect of, well, I only play the AAA games that are just overly advertised to me. So of the games they play, they're like, this should be Game of the Year.
So the way these shows generally work, I know the way the Game Awards particularly works is the people who vote, obviously it's broken up into critic votes, who are people who are brought in specifically, and then obviously the audience vote. The critics basically get given a list, and they aren't obligated to have played every game on that list. So in a lot of cases, it could be that one game wins because it just happens to be the only AAA on it, and everyone who is voting happens to have played it and hasn't played all of the others. So there is a little bit of that aspect to it. It's why I'm actually kind of surprised Dave the Diver isn't on here, and maybe a couple of other indie games, because it's a case that they didn't necessarily get played by the panel, but all these games have, because they are AAA and it's expected of their outlets, because obviously a lot of these critics, or a lot of people who brought into the panels, are people who do reviews professionally for one outlet or another. So yeah, I think there is some of that coming into it. I think that's why Stray won
this year,
last year.
Yeah, and I also think this year that, like, with how many releases there are, it's just like it's too bogged down to like really, like, so obviously, I mean, no matter what, people are going to have criticisms or disagreements on like what were like the nominees.
Yeah.
But like I think this year, like, I mean, even like alone, like there's other games I like, because I'm seeing, like, I glanced over in my chat and it's like, people are bringing up like Legacy, like Hogwarts Legacy. I think that's still too controversial of a game to have been nominated for anything because Rowling.
I think the game was good, but it's probably not Game of the Year.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. I agree. I played through the game. I enjoyed my experience, but I wouldn't call it Game of the Year. And Starfield as well. Like, Starfield's not Game of the Year.
Like, both those games, top 50, not in the top 6. Like, we get it.
Yeah, they're good games. It doesn't mean they're bad games, but maybe not. Although I look at here and I go, oh, I feel like that's been added to bump up something. Like, why is Super Mario Bros. Wonder there?
That's actually been received really well.
I actually think it deserves to be there.
Really well.
still a Mario game. It's still bite-sized.
Tears of the Kingdom is absolutely.
I can understand why Zelda is there. That's not a bite-sized game, right?
That was a great game.
I am shocked to see Resident Evil on there because I heard it's good, but
I think because
I don't see it winning against some of these.
No, I don't see it winning. However, I would argue that the reason why Resident Evil 4 is there is because of all of the Resident Evil franchise. Resident Evil 4 is the most well-loved and was one that actually reinvented the entire series and what people were demanding to see this game be remade. And I haven't looked at the numbers, but I'm pretty sure that game sold extremely well and obviously was very well received. So I'm not surprised to see it there. Because that's not just a game that attracted like horror fans. It's a mainstay, like, you know, the original like RE4, like people who didn't play horror games played that game. So I could see it being there. But I agree with you. I don't think it's going to win. Yeah. For sure.
I think it's gonna be remarkably close.
I don't think it's going to be remotely close.
I mean, Baldur's Gate 3
outside
and
is Baldur's Gate. just to be clear.
I think Baldur's Gate will win, but I think the only game close to that would be Tears of the Kingdom.
From an audience perspective, yes, I agree. I think a lot of people are going to go for Tears of the Kingdom as like the runner-up. I like both.
I think so, Baldur's Gate.
Who are you voting for then, Pulp?
I think I'm voting for Baldur's Gate, but I want to vote for. I want to vote for something different, but I can't not. It's too obvious for me.
Who are you voting for, Peachy?
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate. I've already placed my votes last week, so I voted for.
Who'd you vote for?
I voted for Baldur's Gate because Baldur's Gate.
It's a landslide.
That's typical Brian Peachy.
The next one is best game direction.
This is a very interesting award because I don't think the obvious winner of the entire Game Awards is the winner here.
Best game direction?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where I might
think probably the weakest game might be the winner here.
Really? Okay, so maybe no one will agree with me. I think Alan Wake 2 deserves this one.
Absolutely. The way it's delivered to you.
Yeah, honestly, like I said, I really want you to see like at least that one sequence in Peachy, because like you could see like
I've been watching it on YouTube now because someone was like, the gameplay is it's still Alan Wake. Yeah, there's so much good stuff. So I've been watching stuff. I don't care about spoilers at this point.
Right.
Oh no, I meant like look up that that musical sequence alone, and just that aside, just for like when I was streaming it, one of my mods I pointed out, like I saw both of your faces just light up because of how like excellent it is. There's just so much passion and care, just like Baldur's Gate. So with this extends to Baldur's Gate, but there's so much love that went into this, and you could tell everyone who was on this team, had to have so much fucking fun.
The way all these games that I have seen deliver themselves to you, Alan Wake is the most interesting.
Yes, I agree.
It has the biggest vision of delivering this game to you. It's not just like, well, if we're talking about gameplay and story and all that, yes, of course it's Baldur's Gate.
It's such a unique experience. And like, I'm such a sucker for live action in games personally. Like, I think especially if it's done well, it's done well, but like,
it's not seamless.
No, but I mean, I meant like it done well as in like there's parts in the game where like I kind of was questioning it.
Yeah.
Like
okay, I haven't played the game. I've watched a bunch of stuff and all the live action. I'm like, oh, live action, cool, but I didn't think
they put like a filter
seamless
over some of them where like they made it look like. Oh no, I'm talking more like how it integrated into the game, like how, just how well it worked.
Like in TVs and things like that.
Yeah.
For me, it was quite obvious. For the stuff I've not seen the whole thing, but for the stuff I've seen, I was like, oh, it's obvious, but I didn't have a problem with that.
Okay. I mean,
they did try to stylize it and stuff, but like, no.
It reminded me a lot of Twin Peaksy.
Yeah.
And I'm such a sucker for Twin Peaks.
They made it look like it belongs here rather than try to make it. No, this is the same thing. You didn't know. It didn't.
No, I think. Like that. Well, they also did like there were these sequences with the character Saga. She would go into her mind place, which I love the name. It's like I'm going to my mind place. But she would do oh my god, why am I forgetting the term for it? But like she would basically it's like cross-examining the characters and asking questions, and like while she was doing, like they did obviously it's very heavily stylized with like the colors, and you would see the actors who the characters were model of behind her talking. And while the character model, and that's where, yes, it's very obvious that it's live action, because they did one where spoilers, where she does it with her own self, and her character, the actress, you're like, and I was like, I kept saying like, her actress is so pretty, the character model does no justice in comparison when he's put her side to side. But yeah, that's what I was referring to. It's like kind of cool that they integrated it into the game, like while playing the game.
I still think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win, and the reason for that is because because of how it exploded, everyone played it. Everyone played it because everyone talked about Baldur's Gate 3.
People who don't play those games.
Where
it's my girlfriend's favorite game, and she is not a turn-based combat aficionado at all.
Whereas Alan Wake, if you're not in the Remedy verse, a lot of those things that are story beats and like little Easter eggs and stuff, a lot of the meaningful things and the things that go, ooh, make you go like that, aren't going to do that to someone who isn't invested in the Remedy verse to begin with. If it's someone who maybe played Alan Wake 10 years ago and then was like, oh, I'll play Alan Wake 2. I think it's got
enough intrigue to carry itself.
I'm sure it does.
A lot of people like
being
only now. I've noticed some people are more interested in going back and checking. Like Control had terrible marketing, some of the worst marketing, because I didn't even know it came out.
Literally in my top 5 games of all time. It's phenomenal.
One of my top 5 too. It's such a good game. It plays really well, but like it got shit marketing. But I've seen people play through Alan Wake 2 and decide that they want to go back and check out Control, which makes me super happy. Kevin played through Control for the first time. Right after we played it, I finished Alan Wake 2, and he loved the game. And it's criminal how few people got an opportunity to play that when it was released.
That's gonna go one of 2 ways. One is gonna be, oh my god, the gameplay is slick and tight and it's cool, or they're gonna be like, oh,
so much running around.
There's not as much intrigue, and I mean there is intrigue in the game, but it's not really about
but you have to go looking for it. Because unlike Alan Wake 2, where
you through the intrigue.
Both Alan Wakes are linear. They're way more linear, and Control gives you a lot more freedom.
You have to go back and forth,
and there's a lot of running back and forth. It could be a little irritating if that's not your thing.
As long as they spawn enemies in, don't care, because that gameplay is fucking great.
Oh, it's so tight, and it's so, you feel so cool.
Yeah, when you start going back through levels you've been before with all this more gear and abilities, and you're like, fucking hell, this was the best room. When I walked through here before, this was lame. This is awesome now.
It's like, look at me levitate.
So you think Baldur's Gate?
I'm gonna vote for Alan Wake 2 personally.
I'm voting for Alan Wake 2, and I think Alan Wake 2 will take it. I think the direction, the way it was delivered, is the best here.
Yes, I fully agree. I wouldn't be surprised if Baldur's Gate takes this one, but I would actually be a little disappointed, because I feel Alan Wake 2 their direction was a lot stronger. But I wouldn't be upset about it. Like that. Yeah. Let me make that clear. So I'm voting for Alan Wake 2.
Anything Baldur's Gate gets, I will be like, because it deserves a lot.
It deserves everything. I'm only when I say disappointed, just more along the lines like, man, I really wish Alan Wake 2 won, but I'm fine with it. Baldur's Gate. That's a concession.
I really wish Alan Wake came out another year. It's basically what it's going to be. I wish this game came out the year after or the year before Baldur's Gate.
As far as being the year is concerned, I don't think that would matter. I don't think Alan Wake is quite there.
Oh no, I mean just like for this awards ceremony, because for a lot of it, it's going to be a case of millions of people have played Baldur's Gate and haven't played the other game, and that's pretty much how it wins, unfortunately. Best narrative is the third category for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game.
So who do we think is going to be second place? Yeah.
So I think, again, this is actually going to be close. I don't think Final Fantasy is going to get voted for that much.
It's not.
A lot of people do like it. I do think it is
it's a great game, but
worthy of praise. Yeah,
storytelling. I wasn't really crazy about the storytelling in it.
Yeah, there's another category. It comes in later, and a lot of people are like, really? But we'll come to that in a moment.
I think I know what you're talking about. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I saw it wasn't narrative. When I saw Final Fantasy 16, I was like,
RPG is the one I'm on about, where it's a best RPG or something like that, and it's like the one game they've turned into an action game
on best RPG, and I kind of like. I'm a little iffy about that one.
Some of the categories are weird, but in this one we've got Alan Wake 2.
When you're saying at best RPG, 4 of the games on best narrative are RPGs.
Yeah, no, I mean specifically Final Fantasy 16, which is arguably an action game because of how they made it, is in best RPG category. And that's a bit like
Final Fantasy.
Well, before we get to RPG, let's go back to narrative.
Yeah, so we've got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Oh, go ahead, Peachy.
With Final Fantasy, the only people I've seen talking about the new Final Fantasy is people who are Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not that that's a bad thing. Like, something you like is good. That's awesome. But I haven't really seen that move out to other people.
It's still very niche for some people. Like, it's like you either really like Final Fantasy or you just don't pay attention to it at all.
I mean, Baldur's Gate is one of the most niche games we're gonna see today.
Right.
But
I
just haven't.
Arguably, yes. But I'm talking about with Final Fantasy. Most people
a lot of people know Final Fantasy, and
they know Final Fantasy. I'm talking about as the audience for it. Like, they either really like it or maybe they just don't. It's at least more recently, because I know Final Fantasy 14 is still incredibly popular, but like
your general gamer hasn't been talking about Final Fantasy, so I don't think that's gonna.
That's what I was trying to say, is like you either are really into Final Fantasy or it's just like kind of like, oh yeah, that's a thing that exists.
I think there's entry points for it. I think more people were talking about K-pop in a car than they were talking about this one or the new remake 7.
Well, no, I think that one, because that first off, that game took forever to come out. It was in development hell forever, and then on top, and it wasn't really a solid release. This game's
that was the one I did, the most modern one that I enjoyed.
I really love Final Fantasy 15, but I've always said that it's not a perfect game.
To interject, Final Fantasy 16 is allegedly, when it was last updated on Wikipedia, one of the top 5 selling games for PlayStation 5. It is third.
Oh, well, fuck me then.
So
yeah, I saw people talking about the game who I wouldn't put in the I'm a Final Fantasy gamer section, and with this one, so I don't think that's coming second. I'm not entirely sure why Cyberpunk is there for best narrative. Maybe just to be like, we got to put Cyberpunk in there because
I don't think Cyberpunk
best narrative. It fixed the game. Spider-Man. The game is even better now. But
I don't know about Spider-Man either. I'm good. Okay, so I'm going to be a little repetitive. I think this one. Still think Alan Wake.
You think Alan Wake is second? I cannot pick any of these to be second. I guess out of these.
Well, I was literally saying the narrative. I was a big fan of the narrative.
Yeah. I haven't played Spider-Man 2, but I can't see them going, narrative. Do you know what I mean?
But I think the one that's going to win will be Baldur's Gate. But I think Alan Wake will be second.
I really can't pick who will be second.
I suspect it'll either be Cyberpunk or Alan Wake 2.
Maybe Cyberpunk, but it's not even throwing a bone because nothing is going to beat Baldur's Gate over best narrative.
Yeah.
It's a narrative-focused RPG.
It's a slam dunk, isn't it? It's a slam dunk. Next category is Best Art Direction, and it's the only time I think we see Hi-Fi Rush, which is soul-destroying, I think, considering how well that was received.
It's such a good game.
Yeah,
and the art direction is phenomenal.
And it came out at the beginning of the year, so it's probably been forgotten by most people. But yeah, Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
How the fuck are we getting Super Mario Bros. and Legend?
Again, I know it's not in your sphere, but Mario Bros. Wonder is like.
But we're talking about art direction.
No, there's some really cool art direction in Mario and Super Mario Wonder. I've seen. I haven't played it yet, but I've seen like gameplay from it, and there is
looks
some
like every Mario game since fucking Sunshine Galaxy, even.
Well, the Mario fans are loving it and are like basically saying it's the best thing for Mario since sliced bread. So
art direction, that's like giving Sonic art direction.
I don't know about this one.
I mean, yes, because whilst it's not an art direction I would go for myself. Again,
no, I love this kind of art, but it's not like, oh my god, it's blowing my socks off. This is like, oh, we've just softened everything so more people will like it. It's not an art direction, it's beige in art form.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, you could argue that
there is some really neat art direction in Mario. What I saw, like the silhouette world, was really neat.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is a Mario game, but I think there's some pretty neat stuff in there.
I think the weakest thing on here is actually Tears of the Kingdom because it's Breath of the Wild 2, basically. Yeah. So it's like,
unfortunately,
what art direction? Nothing's changed.
I was trying to think of like what it's sad, but Tears of the Kingdom is no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's literally just Breath of the Wild 2, and maybe with just it had like the world's more filled out.
Yeah,
but it just
like in terms of engine, it's the same engine, just expanded upon and iterated on. But yeah, so it's like,
and I don't like saying that because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so much fun, but art direction wise, I don't think it's its strongest suit.
Yeah, I think Liza P has a strong art direction. It's kind of like,
I don't think art Liza P either.
Here's realistic looking game. It looks pretty, but it's not something where I go, holy shit, the direction of the art is what's making me.
I actually really like the dark fairy tale. I think this is sold really well, and I think this might win because it's a bit fresher than Hi-Fi Rush. Yeah. Because I think that art direction is it's Bloodborne, right? But it does bring its own thing to the table. Bloodborne is the sides are rendered very Bloodborne, but everything else just kind of punches through all that.
I really like the art direction in Liza P. I played through, I platinumed the game. I really love the game. I think that's a toss up between Alan Wake though, and
I think Alan Wake will win.
I'm actually surprised how often I'm saying Alan Wake after I just said I don't think it's.
I've heard several people describe Alan Wake 2 as the most beautiful game they've ever played.
I played the. I've played the.
You haven't played the new RoboCop game then.
I played I went from after finishing Alan Wake 2. I went to I just played that indie game, This Bed We Made. Just I was like, it's just something to like cap the night off,
Right.
And it was like jarring, how like different the game. Like I was like, man, that game really is. I kept saying to myself, I'm like, man, Alan Wake really was a fucking pretty game. Damn, dude.
And you were playing on PlayStation 5 as well. It's not even the highest graphics.
I got on PS5 because I cannot fucking stand the Epic Game Store. I will. You could pull my teeth out before I willfully go there. And if I have a choice, I will do PS5. And maybe the gameplay would have been better on PC, but I will end up picking it up whenever it decides to come to Steam. I have to.
In terms of graphics, though, the fact that you think it looks so good on a PlayStation 5, which is like the medium settings on PC, and then there's people who would be playing it on high, ultra, etc.
It would blow my mind if I saw it in like high fidelity, with the top of the line graphics card. Unfortunately, it had to go on Epic Games and ruin my day.
Yeah, I think I would like Hi-Fi Rush or Liza P to win because of indies, and they did really well. I say it's because of indies. Yes. Hi-Fi Rush is obviously a Microsoft game, but it was a small studio. But,
it's such a fun game. It put such a big smile on my face when I played it.
A lot of people really, really enjoyed it, but I think overall people are just going to look at Alan Wake and be like, "Holy shit, my eyeballs are orgasming," and then just place the vote down. So yeah, I think it will be Alan Wake that will win.
I think Alan Wake will win. I think I would prefer. If I'm being honest, I would prefer of all of them, either Hi-Fi Rush, you're right, and Liza P or Liza P, because I'm really like, I was just watching because I don't have Liza P installed on my computer after I platinumed it, and I saw the director's letter or the video that they made, you know, talking about their DLC and the next patch, and it's just like, dude, I got so joyful going like, man, I'm so glad I'm so happy for these guys. Like, I really hope like, you know, they keep seeing success. So like, I want to see more success from that studio. And Hi-Fi Rush, like, it's just such a fun game. Oh, it just looks so like charming. But you're right. I think Alan Wake will. This one I'm pretty positive Alan Wake will walk away with.
Who are you voting for, Peachy?
I'm torn because Alan Wake is artsy. It's very artsy.
Very
looks cool, but the impact of Hi-Fi Rush. I think it's gonna sway me. I think I'm voting Hi-Fi Rush because like it's not as artsy, but it's got a lot of kapow.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
It's
and
look at like
definitely came
he
out of nowhere.
snaps in tune with the music. Like, it was so cute.
It was very, very cute.
And you have a kitty cat. Also in Alan Wake 2, I found out with the weigh-in, you get an achievement for it. You get to pet a dog.
Oh.
You can pet the dog. You heard it here first.
The dog is the mayor of Bright Falls too, which excellent.
We're going to go through the categories a wee bit quicker because we're getting short on time. But best score and music, for outstanding music inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. Alan Wake 2, composer Petri Elanko. Baldur's Gate 3, composer Borislav Slavov. Final Fantasy 16 is Masayoshi Soken. Hi-Fi Rush is Shuichi Kabori. If I'm butchering these names, please forgive me. And then the composer is off screen for thingy, Team Nintendo Sound or whatever. Yeah, cool.
High five.
I love that band.
That's a good band. High five.
Baldur's Gate will win. I think
Gate
Hi-Fi Rush is who I'm voting for because it's just full of energy.
Necessarily think Baldur's Gate 3 are going to win this. Actually, I think it might be Final Fantasy.
That
Down by the River fucking medley is just destroyed me. It's
Final Fantasy 16 though does have excellent sound.
Yeah, but like 7 people have played the game.
It's the third best-selling PlayStation game. Just a reminder. So a lot more than that. Like almost as many people have played Elden Ring. Just a reminder.
I'm just saying shit, and Brian's like, wait.
I think okay. So
fact check. Community
let's go
note.
down the list. Let's go down the list. So Alan Wake, it's very atmospheric, but not with the exception of sometimes I can't really remember some of the music. So nah. Baldur's Gate probably will win. It's a good
soundtrack, to be clear.
It's good. It's good. It's not my favorite.
Final Fantasy
16. I'm not gonna lie, dude. That score is so good.
Final Fantasy the series is famous for having just ridiculous balls to the wall music that is very, very immersive, like boss fight music and all that shit. And the same has been said about this one.
There were sequences where
you got very memorable. I've not seen anything about Final Fantasy because no one's been like just talking about it outside of the circle. So I haven't been. And there's been a bunch of other games I've been like, no, I'm playing this now.
I disagree. I think of the between Baldur's Gate and Final Fantasy, I think Final Fantasy scores a lot stronger.
Yeah, but only as we've already proved factually, only 7 people have played Final Fantasy.
Yeah, so
I think Baldur's Gate is very memorable, and you find yourself humming it.
I don't find Baldur's Gate soundtrack as memorable, but I like Baldur's Gate.
Speaking objectively, I think Final Fantasy will win because Final Fantasy almost always wins music. I think Baldur's Gate had good music. Alan Wake has good music. Hi-Fi Rush is a music game. It has good music.
Yeah, that's what I voted for.
That's what I'm voting for too. I want Hi-Fi to win.
Yeah. I think if it came to a vote, I haven't actually played 16, so I can't really comment, but I suspect 16 will win, but I would want to vote for Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh, this one. Oh, I think 16 will win. I really do. I will eat those words, Peachy, if I'm wrong.
It's a strong bet. Their music has never been weak. It's never been weak.
We'll just do a drinking game for the Game Awards.
Speaking of the Game Awards, you are joining us, right, Paul?
Yes.
Oh my God, you're joining us! Let's go!
When's the Game Awards actually? Wait.
It's it will be the Thursday the 7th for you, and it's midnight Friday for me.
Thursday the 7th?
Peachy.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah, I think it's
Thursday.
Thursday the 7th at 7 p.m. I think. You have to check that on the Game Awards website.
I'll be there.
But yeah, for me and Peachy, it's midnight until 4 a.m. So that would be a nice long one for us. But yeah, so next category, best audio design, Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, and the only time they appear in the categories, which is kind of weird.
Dead Space has fucking phenomenal audio design.
It really does,
about music and stuff. The audio design is... There are noises in that game where I would replay it and like do actions that made a noise because they were the fidelity and the way just a sound, the texture was crafted was and I think people got that, which you don't often get from audio
I played
design.
through it on stream and it's so good.
But why is it only in this category? Why isn't it like Game of the Year and things like that? Like, wasn't it like really well received? Dead Space is only in this one category.
And also, wait, we can argue too. In case you can't use the excuse that it's a remake.
Yeah, because Resident Evil 4. And I'm like, bruh.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Like, I didn't play it because I don't play horror games, but like, everyone loved it.
It's great.
Especially after the thingy protocol, Callisto protocol, and everyone was like, oh, this would be great. And then it wasn't. And then they were like, hey, the Dead Space remake is great though.
Dude,
it was surprisingly good.
Yeah, like it was really well received.
I don't really think you should play the original anymore.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't.
It's horrible to say, but
no, it's not horrible to say. They did a really faithful they did a full remake, and it's so incredibly well done that it just blows the original out.
Yeah, they nailed the vibe and everything about the first one. I wasn't playing the second going, oh, I wish I was playing the first one.
Yeah, Callisto Protocol, my God, did that game give me the biggest whiplash. Like, I thought I honestly, I was fully convinced my computer was trash when I loaded up and it was like stuttering all hell. And it turned out it was just poorly optimized. It was, like, everyone who even had better graphics cards and processors than me were like struggling with that one. But not the point. Dead Space is phenomenal.
Well, it got 89 on Metacritic. And Resident Evil 4 got 93. Yeah. So like it's up there.
I wouldn't.
It was definitely up there. So I'm like,
it's up there, yeah.
Why is it only in this one category?
But 4, though, I don't think had as strong sound design.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not.
Good.
I'm still hung up on why the fact that Dead Space isn't in any other category bar this one.
Yeah.
I just don't get how it only made it.
If that was up against Resident Evil and Game of the Year, if it was just those two games, I think Dead Space would win.
Horror games don't usually they really get overlooked a lot, and I think I think in comparison between Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space it leans more heavily on horror, whereas I would actually consider
podcast would like to point out that Alan Wake, a horror game, has been in almost every section so far.
It's not really a horror game though.
It is. No, it's a horror. He's a horror writer. It's a horror game.
Like
it
has horror themes.
Game, but it's a horror game.
It has horror themes.
It has horror themes.
It's a horror game.
I would absolutely full on disagree that it's a horror game. I played through it.
It's 100% a horror game. It's just not a scary game.
Okay, that's a fair one.
It's some
not
weird
a scary
semantic
game.
bullshit, but yeah.
No, but it's fine.
Horror movies have you watched that aren't scary, Brian?
There's like some horror elements, and it's just not scary.
The greatest horror series ever is not scary. Evil Dead.
To be fair, I did get jump scared a couple times in Alan Wake. But they were cheap as fuck, and I was very aggro when it happened.
I have heard they're like extraordinarily effective, but cheap as fuck when it comes to the jump scares.
I was Brian, I yelled a lot at the game.
It's like, motherfucker.
But not yelling as in out of fear. It was yelling out of frustration.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel that.
Beef with Cynthia.
Yeah, that's why I don't play horror games.
Yeah, no, they were cheap as fuck. I can't comment on Spider-Man 2, so I will refrain. Hi-Fi Rush. It's a music game. I don't know if it's the best audio design though here.
The audio design is very good, as in it fits everything around. Nothing is out of place.
Yes, I agree.
It's good. It's not. We're not saying any of these ones we don't vote for are bad. They're clearly not. They're in the Game Awards, right?
I think with Hi-Fi Rush as well.
Final Fantasy, which 7 people have played.
With Hi-Fi Rush,
but they really liked it.
With it being a rhythm game, it's kind of expected to be good audio design in the first place. Whereas with other games,
You need
if
clarity
it's
in that
When
game,
I
though.
think
It
of
stands
audio
out.
design or sound
Audio design.
design, though, I think of like my attention is more drawn to like the atmosphere of the game.
Yeah.
So in this case, I think the two is a toss up between Dead Space and Alan Wake for me. Personally, I don't again, like Resident Evil 4 was a fantastic remake. They did a great job. However, if I'm going to put it up against Dead Space, hell no, Dead Space takes that away immediately. Like they just killed it. I don't know anything about Spider-Man 2. I just don't really play the Spider-Man games, if I'm being honest. So I can't comment on that. I'm sure it sounds great.
Last one was fucking incredible.
No, I've heard that. I just haven't gone around to it. Hi-Fi Rush, it's a music game, but like my brain just like associates sound design with like atmospheric for the atmosphere of the game.
That's fair.
So so like, and if that's wrong, that's entirely fine. But that's just how I think. So I think it's a toss up between Alan Wake and
Oh
Dead Space for me.
shit!
Who are you
My
voting for,
title
Peachy?
says the Fuck It Rendered podcast.
You plonker. Who are you voting for in the last one, by the way? Best audio design?
So
Me?
Dead Space.
Yeah, Dead Space for me.
I'm doing Dead
Okay.
Space.
Best performances next. I think this is going to be remarkably tough. This is like
I think this
insane.
is so fucking annoying, and I can't really comment on it. But there is only one woman in this entire thing.
True.
So I'm voting for the woman.
I think.
Oh wait.
Let's not do that.
I think.
I'm joking.
I
I'm
think
joking.
there are a lot of people who should have been on this list. It's already got the
Yeah.
most people on it, or most
Neil
options.
Newman, was that Asterion?
Starion,
Yes.
which was a
Starion.
great performance,
Yes.
but when you look at that game, I don't think he's the best voice actor in there. I think there are a couple of standouts that have more depth and range, but I think he nails his character
He nails his
very
character.
well.
And I think the reason he's on there is because Astarion is arguably the most like renowned, memed
Yeah.
on,
He's the
and
meme
whatever.
loved character.
He's the meme. He's the meme boy.
Yeah.
Ben Starr. Who is he? Was he the main
Clive.
character of? Oh, I don't give a shit about him then.
No,
No,
yeah.
not the guy. Not the actor. The character. I
yeah.
don't remember the character being that.
And then he
That guy.
he auditioned for Mario using like his Clive voice, and he's like, "It's a me, Mario." kind of thing. It was
I'm
really,
sorry,
really
then.
funny.
That's
It was
That's not
really
the voice.
funny.
Not the voice. You'll hear
Yeah.
the voice.
But yeah, so
I like his sense of humor. I like Ben Starr. The character caught. What do you think about that?
I think Amelia should have been best performance because considering she has the most lines in the entirety of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
And the most range, playing basically 4 different types of character.
Mm.
But
But
I don't
otherwise-
think. I think Neil did a fantastic job with Astarion, but I
Yeah.
think there are, to mind, 3 other voice actors in that game that
Mhm.
were leagues better. And again, he was not bad. He was great. He nailed that character, but the quality in that game is so high.
Yes,
Mm.
I
that
agree.
we're getting the meme character.
Melanie Liebert. I know I said that wrong. Because the game's fresh in my mind, I think she did great, but I don't think her performance outshines Neil's. This might be a controversial opinion, but brave. I think Idris Elba just played himself.
Yeah.
I loved him.
Yeah.
But he played himself. That I just said, like, it's just Idris Elba in Cyberpunk for me. I forgot his character name because I kept calling him Idris.
Oh shit, me too.
John
What's his
Agent.
character's name?
What the fuck is his name, chat?
John Agent. John Cyberpunk.
Can someone? Does
He
someone
did
in my
just
chat
play
know?
himself, didn't he?
He
Pretty much.
played himself. He played himself. I'm sorry.
I actually voted
But I love
for.
you. We love Idris though in this house.
I voted for Cameron Monaghan, despite the fact that I
Cameron
haven't-
Monaghan's
I think
dude.
he's probably out of these probably the best.
I think he's the
at
best. I
performance.
agree. He's a great actor too.
Yeah.
I watched him back on Shameless, and then apparently, like, I didn't watch Gotham, but I heard he was phenomenal on that.
Mhm.
So like, I'm gonna give it to Cameron, dude.
Yeah, I voted for him as well. I haven't played Jedi Survivor, but I've watched people play it, and all the
didn't
cutscenes
beat
with
it.
him in. I was just like, oh shit, he's like really good.
That's who I'm voting for.
Idris,
but Meme Boy
Idris
is going to
Elba,
win.
Peachy was Solomon Reed.
Yes, I did just say that earlier. My
Oh, you
chat
did.
was
I
like going
missed.
ham.
Next.
Cameron Monaghan. It was my vote.
Innovation in accessibility, and I think this is really weird, but I'll explain
I don't
later.
know. I think Diablo 4 is on there, man. And I think Diablo
I think it's
think
good
that's
that this is a segment.
Oh yeah. I
vote
mean,
for, but
some
I
of the
think
nominations
they
are
picked
weird.
all the wrong games.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, but one of them actually, Forza has really good accessibility. It's crazy how good they've been getting better and better each Forza, Motorsport, Horizon. So I can see that on there. And Marvel Spider-Man wasn't bad, the first one, so I assume the second one is better. So maybe. But why the fuck are these games here?
Yeah, there is a lot of like, huh?
Okay.
Like Diablo 4 adds screen reading and color blindness filters. That's it.
Cool.
Oh, and they
Basic
occasionally
thing that
play
you need.
sounds when you drop items, which you can get with basically any other game that is an action RPG. Forza, I have heard, has done really great things. I can't remember about Hi-Fi Rush, what they actually added.
I think Hi-Fi Rush, to be honest, it's a very innovative game. That was the whole point.
Accessibility.
I don't know what that means.
So,
like-
accessibility options for people who can't see colors, can't hear so well, can't see so well, aren't very dexterous, or
how,
you know,
how
all
good
those
it
kind of things.
how good it is at making people that are disabled be able to play the game.
Okay.
It's not necessarily like able-bodied
felt
and
like
non-able-bodied people.
Whenever I saw innovation in accessibility, I would always assume that it's like anyone could pick up and play, like without having like skip. You could skip over the tutorials and anyone could pick it up and play.
So it's
That's
mostly
not really what
like
this is.
games don't add.
Dude, I admit that I was wrong then.
So it's mostly so a lot in historically games don't add a lot of things to allow people with disabilities to get over that disadvantage that they may have through their disability, be it hard eyesight or being an amputee,
I'm blind,
things
so
like that.
I can't. I sit too close to the screen now.
So some things that get added, like in Diablo 4, they've added screen readers, so text on screen gets read out by screen readers and then repeated to them, stuff like that.
And I thought that was great.
But in comparison to last year, you had games like God of War. I'd even actually probably put Final Fantasy 16 in here because they add fuckloads of accessibility.
Dude, actually, wait. You just reminded me that Final Fantasy 16, they had that
Those,
option
like,
where
rings
you
and
can
shit.
no, not just that. You would if you touch it when you touch the hit the touchpad. Sorry, I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
It brings up the glossary of the whole world, and if there's ever any character that's within the world while you're playing, you're like, I don't know who the fuck that is. You can hit that button, and then it brings up everything that's going on in that conversation, like everything that's being referred to. So if you forgot any of the information, or you were like maybe weren't paying attention, which is usually my problem,
Right.
they'll give you like a backstory and like all the history from the game leading up to that moment, which is actually a phenomenal fucking feature to put in an RPG. I think more RPGs need something like that, especially when you're trying to like when it comes to world building. Like a lot of times, like I remember Final Fantasy 13 in particular, the amount of times they would drop these terms around me, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, 100%. But
and they'll explain it to you, and you're like, I don't know, still don't know.
They also added items into the game that would actually like if you shit at like parrying and stuff like that.
The easy mode stuff. Yeah,
that was for accessibility. In again God of War Ragnarok, they added like things that could help with the puzzles, that could help with combat, that could help with navigation, could help with so much stuff. They added
I feel like there was another game that did that too. The same thing as Final Fantasy 16. I just can't remember off the top of my head.
Quite possibly. It is usually the case that games get copied. I've heard Street Fighter 6 has added a lot to accessibility, but I haven't played it, so I can't remark on that.
I don't play fighting games. I'm just terrible at fighting games.
Turn 10 have been doing a lot for accessibility for a long time, and I think it's about time they recognize for that. And I hope they will be for this category.
Yeah, I don't know about. Okay,
but you picked the wrong games, idiots.
Yeah, from what I've heard,
familiar with this category, like an understanding, like fully. I don't know if I could say Hi-Fi Rush. I again didn't play Spider-Man 2. I actually don't really have a dog in this fight because I didn't, with the exception of Hi-Fi, I didn't really play. I played the demo of Street Fighter 6, so I can't really comment on that. I didn't play Mortal Kombat 1. He did for a minute, and then I think he returned it because we don't play fighting games. We're both terrible.
Yeah.
We're both terrible at fighting games. Diablo 4. I mean, you brought up a good point. I forgot about that you can add in the feature to read back to you.
Which Windows has in stock since Windows 8 or something.
Okay, fine.
Like, I'm glad they added it, but it's
it's
they added like two things,
thing.
and I'm like,
okay,
surely
so
there's more in literally any other game.
I think I'm gonna vote for Forza for Peachy's reasons. I don't have a dog in this fight.
That's fair.
So
That's fair. I think it will be either Street Fighter or Forza.
This is a great category, and I'm really glad this category's here. But pick your games better. Just have a go.
I have a feeling that none of us have played any of these games.
I have not played.
I was looking at this, and I'm like, I don't actually recognize that.
I recognize the games because they've been in Discourse. Like Chance of Seninar has been like really like highly praised.
Venba! No, I have heard about one of these games. Venba.
Yeah, I've heard about Tachir as well. That's been highly praised. I know Venba's been highly praised. Goodbye Volcano High, as far as I'm aware, is Fairy Simulator, and then there's Terra Nil. So yeah,
I guess I don't play a lot of message games.
Like, I've played a few, but I just happened to not play any of these this year because I was just in action game addiction. So I'm going to go to the next category: best ongoing.
What did you vote for?
I voted for Venba.
Okay, I'm copying off of you.
You don't have to vote, by the way. You can still go to the next category without voting.
I'm voting. I don't want to be a douchebag.
It's fine. It's fine. Best ongoing. So we actually talked about this one a little bit in the pre-show. Cyberpunk 2077 is on there, and it's not really a live service. Final Fantasy,
but it is ongoing.
But
the thing is, ironically,
you think
they've ironically announced that there's no more Cyberpunk 2077 after this expansion. So they've literally gone, there's no more ongoing.
It's not like Destiny or something.
Yeah, it's not a live service game. It's not.
Why? So before the podcast started, before I even joined in our chat on our call, I went. It's like, let me go take a look at the nominees, just so I have a little bit fresh in my head. And I zeroed in on Cyberpunk on this one. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, yes, they've been doing patches, but that's to fix their games, and then they did
fix their problems that already
expansion.
Exist.
Like, was The Witcher 3 an ongoing game because it had 2 expansions? No. That's not it. So yeah, I think it's going to go to Fortnite because Fortnite do insane shit every year. So yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people really, really, really like Final Fantasy 14. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I'm to be honest, I don't play MMOs. They're not for me. I don't have the time, or not the time. I'm sure I have the time I can find it. I don't have the patience to like invest in MMOs, and I don't like I kind of like lose my focus a lot. So things like that are just not my thing. So Final Fantasy 14, I played a little bit of Genshin Impact once when I think my brother-in-law was playing it, and I heard about it, and it wasn't for me either. I agree that it's probably going to go to Fortnite. Cyberpunk was just fixing problems. That is the weirdest choice.
It definitely.
Where the fuck is Space Game?
Wasn't Destiny?
Hello Games.
Didn't Destiny be on here?
You'd think Destiny would be on it, especially in place of Cyberpunk 2077.
Well, not just that. Didn't Destiny have like a huge
No Man's Sky? Where the fuck is No Man's Sky?
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering because didn't Destiny have a huge expansion this year?
They had Lightfall, it didn't go down very well though, which is probably why it didn't make this list.
Never mind, guys. I don't like maybe not.
Yeah. So I don't think Final Fantasy 14 are going to win this year because this year has been a bit light on the content since post like Endwalker. I think last year it would have won for sure. Maybe potentially did. I don't recall. But I think Fortnite are probably going to win because
Fortnite's probably going to win this
year.
They
always do something crazy.
I've actually been playing Apex Legends.
I think I got Apex Legends one time, and I'm afraid of getting bullied.
I've dabbled in Apex many times over the years. I was a big fan of it when they shadow dropped it, but in terms of like ongoing stuff, it's like you occasionally get a different game mode that is brought in temporarily, and then it's swapped out for another one. Otherwise, it's the same game with more characters, and That's not necessarily a bad thing if that's what you want. That's what you're going to get. But in comparison to the other games where it's like, here's entire game modes entered into our game that you can do all the time, and here's ongoing content and stuff like that. A lot of it, I feel like, is propped up by the community in Apex.
Right.
You know, with all the love for the characters and whatnot.
What didn't like Fortnite have Zero Build that come out this year? Was that it?
Yes. They had Zero Build, and then they had the OG mode that came out in the last couple of weeks as well. So yeah,
Fortnite,
I'm gonna throw my vote to Fortnite on this one. I'm not a fan of Fortnite, but I know that I heard a lot of good things about like the amount of hype that was around Zero Build. I remember that very distinctly.
100%.
So I'm gonna give
this vote.
That's fair.
Because I don't really know about the other games. And the only one I really do is Cyberpunk, and that's not an ongoing game. This is stupid. Why is it here?
That's the dumbest fucking choice I've ever seen.
So next category.
I just saw the next category.
Yeah. Best community support.
Why is Destiny 2 on here?
Yeah, that like I when I first saw it and got to this category, I did actually lol. I just proper cackled because Destiny 2 is on here. But just to clarify, recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates and patches. So to clarify, it's not who's got the best community, it's who's got the best staff that talk to and give information to the community, of which most of Destiny 2's just got recently laid off.
Yeah, so why is Destiny 2 here? That means they probably already.
Someone's going to get a phone call at the Dole office going, "You just won an award."
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
any game.
word? I'm on unemployment.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate has got great community support. I think Zelda's been okay. Final Fantasy, of course, does. Destiny, fuck off. If any game but No Man's Sky wins this game has been out for 7 years. They have never asked for any money since that initial purchase, and every fucking month there is a big update. Every week there's a little update. Like, if anyone deserves best community support, it's Hello Games.
I'll vote for them.
They have gone above and beyond. Like, I want to give them money. I'm not even playing the game anymore because I'm kind of done with it, and I want to give them more money because 7 years, and they haven't had a penny from me. Well, okay, I didn't buy it when it was released, but
that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope, actually. I'll toss them my vote. I think Baldur's Gate might win this one, but I will toss them my vote for you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be between No Man's Sky and Baldur's Gate 3 for sure, but for different reasons.
And like Cyberpunk is like,
I mean, we're fixing the game. We're fixing the game, guys.
We've been fixing. Oh, I just saw the next category, and I already know my vote for this one.
So next category is Best Independent Game. Now, this is a controversial one because Dave the Diver is on it. Do you guys know who makes Dave the Diver?
No.
It says Mint Rocket there, which is a subsidiary of Nexom. And Nexom is also known as Satan. So so Dave the Diver had
Baldur's Gate isn't on here, and technically that's an independent
game. So yeah, so you got Dave the Diver that's got like a $40 million budget. I think it was dollars.
What?
Yes, and was made.
No way.
It was made by Nexom.
I take back what I was saying. I was going to vote for Dave the Diver, but now I'm all like, wait a minute.
But that's the thing. So Nexom had to make another company to get out of the reputation that Nexom have. Also, they could make a good game. They actually made a good game.
I like Dave the Diver. Why would you do this to me, Brian?
But yeah, so technically, it's not an indie game. It's made by Satan, but it is a really, 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 really good. Sorry, published by Satan. Let's say.
I was like obsessed with Dave the Diver for a bit. Now I'm hesitant.
No, they did a good thing. Don't be hesitant, but they're clearly not an independent outside of a. They are outside of a traditional publisher system because publishers don't usually make an entire shell company in order to publish another game. Yeah. Technically, that is outside the traditional publisher system, and that's why Baldur's Gate isn't here because they have a lot of money and it's a very traditional publisher. They just only publish one game.
Yeah. But it's,
I haven't played Dredge yet. I don't.
honestly,
so I don't.
this category
I heard it's great.
is so tough. Is so
Cocoon
tough.
was great. Viewfinder, I've not
I
played
will.
Sea of Stars,
Okay,
but I know people
so
fucking love that
I
game.
talked some shit on Sea of Stars. I did not talk shit. I just said the writing was really poopy.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do with like probably translation. So I do think the team behind Sea of Stars put a lot of love into that game.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful game. They got
Self-published as well.
They got what's his name from Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger's developer. Yatsuda something. I can't remember his name. That's the composer. They got the composer for Chrono Trigger. Like that, so that fucking baller move.
12? Fucking hell.
Huh?
I just realized we're only on the 12th category.
Yeah,
I know we're gonna have to.
I will
we're
be
definitely gonna
skipping some of them anyway. But yeah, I think Viewfinder was.
I don't know if I would say I would give it to Sea of Stars, but actually I do think it deserves to be on here because the writing was a nitpick. That was a pure nitpick on my part, and I could see I think the developer did good. I think that they could. I would like to see what they have next, but
I think Viewfinder made some missteps, let's say, but I think it was very good. It's probably Dredge or Dave the Diver.
I think it's gonna be Dave the Diver is gonna win,
Dave
and
the
now
Diver's gonna win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be.
It is tainted now that I know it's Nexon.
Yeah, no, that makes it.
I knew as soon as I was
going
to tell you guys you're going to be heartbroken, and I was just like, oh.
I know you wrecked my day.
I'm sorry, forgive.
Wrecked him, damn near killed him.
I think it will be between Dave the Diver and Sea of Stars because the general, like aside from some complaints around the localization, the general populace has just been like, Sea of Stars is sick, let's play the fuck out of Sea of Stars. But then Dave the Diver has just been, it came onto the show floor and everybody turned its head to gaze upon Dave the Diver and it got a lot of attention. So I think it's probably Dave the Diver, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sea of Stars wins, essentially. Next category.
This is the one.
Viewfinder, hands down.
This one, I was gonna give it to Dredge because I've been hearing more about that.
I think as a debut, I think Viewfinder is just so unique and
I have to look up
innovative.
I haven't seen this game.
Gameplay. Yeah, I think the demo is still up if you want to check out the demo.
It is, and I will.
Viewfinder is the one where you take a picture and the picture becomes part of the environment.
It literally just
cool
exists
concept.
now when you do that, and you can fucking break the shit out of the game. They're like, we don't care. You want? Here's the mechanic. Break it.
Oh shit! This
is how you solve it, but do what the fuck you want. They don't stop you from trying to break it.
There is no demo, but that is definitely a game I'm gonna.
As a debut game to come out with something that is just like legitimately blew my mind. Like Cocoon is a great puzzle game. It's a really cool puzzle game. But it's not like blowing my mind. There's some cool stuff about it. Dredge seems like a really good game from what I've seen, but nothing in there blew my mind. I have no idea what Pizza Tower, and I've only heard about the cultural impact that Ember has.
Well, I'm looking up the games I don't know really fast.
I think it will be between Cocoon and Dredge just because of how much those two are talked about. Viewfinder was really well received. Dredge is recommended by every reviewer ever, basically.
The fuck is this?
It's a solid, good game. It's just Viewfinder, like I said, made some missteps, and I wouldn't. But as a debut game to come out with something that is just so far and above what you expect from a puzzle game, so it gets my vote for me.
I think for sure, it's definitely between Cocoon and Dredge as for the winners. I just looked up Viewfinder. I'm gonna take a look at that game, just from the way you described it, and then also the trailer just blew my mind just now. So I want to check it out, but I'm gonna throw my vote for Dredge.
That's fine. Best mobile game is going to Honkai Star Rail next. Best VR and AR.
I'm doing Hello Kitty on that one.
There is no Hello Kitty, unfortunately.
Yes, there is on best mobile game. Yes, there is. There's a Hello Kitty game.
Is there?
Yeah, and there's Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which I don't really like that much. Sorry.
Apparently, Ever Crisis is really good for like lore shit.
It is, but it is so. The way I would, it's intimidating.
Watch it on YouTube, basically.
Yeah, watch it on YouTube because like I go on and there's so many things being thrown at me that I'm like, I don't.
But yeah, apparently there's like some really good lore stuff, like especially if you're in the whole Final Fantasy VII universe, like I am, that they basically haven't ever addressed in other games, but decide to randomly address in their mobile game. So it's like, oh, okay, here's some canon shit. So if you are interested in the Final Fantasy VII universe, watch some videos of Ever Crisis. Don't play it though, because it's a mobile game that just drowns you in microtransactions. Best VR AR. I haven't.
Call Mounting is a sucky fucking VR integration. Resident Evil is standard VR. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just standard VR integration. I don't know about Synapse or Humanity, but I have seen like the viewpoint you get in Humanity is kind of cool. This sort of takes you there. I think Gran Turismo will win because it does some really cool stuff, but it is a package deal with your PS VR. They're offloading a lot of stuff, and they've done really well with the technology to get VR that smooth. I know there are issues, but that smooth. Having played a lot of VR racing games, I think Gran Turismo does do it very well. And with VR games, racing games, I think Gran Turismo is probably one of the most played by the masses.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think personally, I don't really play VR. I don't have room for one. I don't think I'll ever get one. I think RE Village might take this one. It's because the original game was so well received, and I think a lot of people like are real like that kind of game. Just I don't know. I think it was because the original. What was it? The first 7. I keep wanting to say the 7 in regards to like because it's a sequel. I always heard a lot of good things about the VR for that one.
Yeah.
Because like the way the game is like designed. So I think RE Village might take this one, but I do not have a dog in this fight.
That's fine. We'll move on to the next category anyway. Best action game. Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, LOL, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Remnant 2.
Armored Core.
I think Armored Core is going to win.
Armored Core.
I think there is probably going to be a case of, Armored Core winning. I wouldn't be surprised if Remnant 2 won, though. Because Remnant and Remnant 2 have both been like pretty well beloved, but I do think it will go to Armored Core. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think that's a shame. I think Ghost Runner 2 is absolutely fucking amazing, and more people should play.
I was terrible when I played that demo, but it is cool.
I love it. Just zones me in the same way that Mirror's Edge did. Like,
yeah, it's a cool game. I just struggled with it a lot.
Next category, best action adventure game: Alan Wake, Spider-Man 2, Res Evil 4, Jedi Survivor, and Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm gonna skip this.
This is a weird one. There are things I liked about Tears of the Kingdom, but like I loved how much player agency they gave you.
Though. Yeah, like there's a big portion of the game is all puzzle solving using like making new things, and like Jedi Survivor, it just felt more like I mean, when I say this,
the game is forever tainted for me.
It's tainted. I don't care for it.
I'll buy it when it's the price of a sandwich, and no doubt I will enjoy it.
RE4, because I'm looking at the title, like or like the description, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. I think this could be
traversal. Spider-Man next.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man's won this one.
If Spider-Man 1 was on this list, because I've played that, I haven't played 2, obviously.
I'm gonna vote for Tears of the Kingdom, but I'd probably be Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Spider-Man based on like just the sheer amount of praise I've heard the combat get in Spider-Man 2.
No, I've heard nothing but good things about it. This one's already it's Baldur's Gate. We're not.
Best RPG chat. Who do we think is gonna win out of Brian?
I think it's going to go to Starfield.
Baldur's Gate for sure.
Starfield. We're going to vote for Starfield.
I don't think Baldur's Gate 3. Just to be clear.
Baldur's Gate 3. I want that's my vote as
win something, but this is a horrible. This is a horrible placement for it. Why would you do that? Or it's Baldur's Gate for sure.
Yeah, it's Baldur's Gate. And I don't think Final Fantasy should even be on this list in this occasion. Traditionally, yes. But
I
16's
want
an action
Liza
game.
P to win something, but that's so mean.
Yeah.
That's rude.
Best Fighting, God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, and Pocket Bravery and Street Fighter 6. I think
Street Fighter 6.
I think Mortal Kombat's going to win, but it should be Street Fighter 6.
I no horse in this race, but I had to go Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, and it's a lot of fucking fun.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
Really?
It actually is.
It's basically Smash Bros. Nickelodeon.
I was just like, oh, new Smash Bros. It's not
should we all play some Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 one day?
Community game, yes.
But yeah, we need to do more community games.
Yeah, I think Mortal Kombat will win because it's so overwhelmingly popular in comparison to even Street Fighter 6. They won the golden joysticks pretty much for the same reason, and Street Fighter 6 fandom was like, what? kind of thing. Yeah, like, I think Street Fighter 6 is
I'm going to go for the one
game.
I want to win, which is Street Fighter, but you're probably right.
Yeah. Best family, do we care? No.
Fight Animals is really good. Pikmin 4 is going to win, hands down.
Yeah,
it
probably.
better be Pikmin 4.
It's going to win, don't worry. That's
do
definitely
we
winning.
care about Best Sim Strategy? I think it's a really weird one this year, to be honest.
Yes, because City Skylines is there.
Yeah.
Next to Company of Heroes 3.
Yeah, but it's City Skylines.
Next to Pikmin 4.
It's probably going to
but look at the category we're in.
Yeah, but it's such a weird category. Like these nominations.
I have a confession to make, by the way. I bought Fire Emblem Engage, and I still haven't played it. I have like, for some reason, the art style like alone with all for me be like, I'm not really that interested.
That's fair. Like
it's such a petty reason. I don't like the character's hair.
I think the selection of games is a bit too broad for this category for it to be meaningful.
The category is a bit loosey goosey, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's either Cities or Pikmin 4.
There are 5 esports categories.
Yeah.
We'll put sim and strategy in the same.
Yeah. Best sports, do we care? We don't really play sports.
So Forza Motorsport isn't quite there yet. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 was a lot of fun.
I'm voting for Hot Wheels.
Motorfest can fuck off Ubisoft. FC, I don't play those anymore. F1 is actually pretty decent.
So Hot Wheels wins by default. Good to know.
Hot Wheels wins by default.
Did I just skip one accidentally? Best multiplayer. This was another weird one. Like, best multiplayer for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform, which is a really weird caveat anyway. But
just like Baldur's Gate, you can have multiplayer, but it's not a multiplayer game.
No, I don't.
Even Diablo 4 is a weird choice.
Don't forget.
I can see that one in there though, because you
about Baldur's Gate 3. There was also a bug that they had with the multiplayer where your character would get stuck in someone else's game. I played with Kevin the first time when it came out because I was like, oh, that's dope. We could play online, and Kevin would not get out of my party for so long. So I missed story beats and shit because I couldn't get the fucker out of my party.
Right.
So I have beef with Baldur's Gate about that.
That's been fixed, I believe.
No, it is fixed. I'm more because of how. Because after that, like, you didn't really want to do multiplayer unless you had like a multiplayer centric game. That's my personal beef.
I think Baldur's Gate is going to win this. Even though Street Fighter's netcode is really, really good.
Mario Wonder.
Very efficient. There aren't as many players of Street Fighter to vote for this over Baldur's Gate.
I think this is going to be Mario Wonder. It's a multiplayer game.
I suspect, and I don't agree with it at all, I suspect it'll either be Baldur's Gate or Diablo 4. The reason I don't think it should be Diablo 4 is because Diablo 4 has MMO-light features which you just stumble on. There is no way to group up with people. If you are using trade chat, it's based on the instance that you're in. So you can only use trade chat with 12 other people. You have to then leave, re-enter the instance, hope to get another one if you want to talk to different people. The social features are almost non-existent. It's one of the things that got a bit of a laugh at BlizzCon, where they were like, we've got this really dedicated social team and they're doing everything we can. And we're like, where is the social features? You haven't got any, kind of thing. Like, it's an afterthought, the multiplayer, if anything. You can sure run up to a world boss and there'll be other people to play it with you, but that's it. There's no way to group up. I
personally believe this will be Mario Wonder because the game is designed to be multiplayer.
But it's essentially glorified couch co-op.
Oh, yeah, but
I think
I-
Wonder's
yeah,
on
I-
Like
here.
a multiplayer? Is
I-
that a? Does that make it a multiplayer game? This category is fucking stupid.
I think Mario
Stupid.
Wonder actually has quite a bit of like, it pushes you towards co-op. I have also heard out of all of like the Switch games,
Nintendo
it has the least fucking
capabilities.
multiplayer. Like to
Okay.
play multiplayer on the
Interesting.
Switch
Okay, well,
is
then never
really,
mind.
really, really
I-
annoying.
99 games are fine. You just jump in, but you don't team up, I guess.
The only thing with it, well, I mean, when it comes to online multiplayer, it's really hard for me to vote for a Nintendo game because it's such shit. Their internet internet shit. I can't even
There's a
talk
lot
right now.
of things wrong with
I'm
the
so
multiplayer.
frustrated. I get so frustrated talking about the internet capabilities, the online capabilities with the Switch because it's such dog shit.
Right? Yeah.
Hopefully Street Fighter wins.
Yeah.
Hopefully Street Fighter wins.
Hopefully they get enough votes.
Next category, best
Oh, God.
adaptation. This is a tough one for me. I think it's going to be The Last of Us. But you've got Castlevania Nocturna, Gran Turismo, which apparently is actually pretty good. The Last of Us, the Super Mario Bros. Movie,
This is
and then
very good. They
Twisted
just
Metal.
copy like 7 different
share
YouTubers'
something.
stories. It's so dumb.
I could share
I'd
something.
rather watch the
something
real
with you.
shit.
I actually worked on a lot of the promo stuff for Gran Turismo, and it was actually very interesting to
Yeah.
listen to like what their thought process.
But look
was
at
on that.
Super GT, Jimmy Broadbent. That shit is actually happening and way more compelling.
I mean,
Well, no,
isn't the story
filmed inside
about
of the,
like an
they
esports
filmed
guy?
inside of the car. They filmed inside of the car.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. No, not a random YouTuber has never filmed inside of the car before.
No, I mean for like a big. Okay.
It just feels like.
I thought it was kind of neat.
do you know what it does? There's nothing wrong with it. It annoys me.
And no, that's fire. I was just saying, like, it was just kind of like a little anecdote that I was able to, before all the release of the game, I was learning a lot about like the production process, and I was pretty impressed. However, my vote does not go to Gran Turismo. It's going to go to The Last of Us.
Out of
Mine's going to
curiosity,
Castlevania.
just out of curiosity,
Oh,
I haven't seen it
like-
yet.
what do you think Gran Turismo is, Peachy?
It's a sim racer who becomes a racer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That story has been told on YouTube many times, actually real, and I followed it in real time over the years.
Yeah,
So I have
isn't
no
it
need
based
to watch this
on
movie.
That no,
It's based on all of them, but I
Is it based on all of
much
them?
prefer.
I thought it was-
Well, this stuff that's taken from like every prominent YouTuber that has gone from sim racing to racing. I don't think it's based on anyone in particular. I think it's been inspired, but the YouTubers who I watch and actually quite like are more compelling to me than watching. I don't fucking like movies and shit like this anyway. So
Right.
I'm set up not to like anything on this list, and I will be skipping it.
Fair.
But I actually no, I'm gonna vote Castlevania. Just out.
I haven't seen that yet. I'm voting for Last of Us. I thought it was the best adaptation.
I think
I just saw the Mario movie last night in full, and Kevin's a little bit upset with me for not voting for that, but he liked it.
I mean, I liked Super Mario movie. It's a good movie.
It was
It's
super
also
fun.
kind of forgettable. The
Yeah,
Last of Us was
why.
just like so good. It was like 1-to-1 in pretty much everything. Castlevania
Yeah.
is also really,
It's not
really,
an
really good.
adaptation. Then they just fucking showed you the game.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. Deal with it. Anyway, and then you got Castlevania
I'm voting for
Nocturna.
Last of Us. I thought they did a great job. And as somebody who does not really enjoy the Last of Us games, or I need to give them another chance before. I shouldn't say that. It was very compelling for me to watch.
Yeah,
Some category skip.
Nocturna is good. It's getting a lot of like anti-woke brigading though, so because there's a black chick in it. Like, get over
Okay,
it.
well,
It
yeah,
is-
we
but it is
don't need to
good.
talk about
If you like the first few
They've
seasons
done a
of
lot with
Castlevania, you're
a
gonna
very
like it.
slim budget.
I have to see. I have to watch.
I don't even like fucking anime.
I'm
Dude.
gonna be honest. This is the first time I'm even hearing about it, so that's why I can't vote for it.
Fair.
So,
This
the
one,
next one, this one, it's an interesting choice. But these are interesting choices.
I think they are already
Most
in order
anticipated game.
of what anticipation there is
Yeah.
for him. I,
100%. I was just about to agree with you.
I can tell
I
you
would
now,
maybe switch Tekken with like a dragon, but
I
yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy's gonna win.
No, I agree with Peachy. I think
I'm more
I would
anticipate.
I would trade Tekken and Like a Dragon because I think with the Yakuza games, there's so many of them come out.
Yeah, but it's a like a dragon game. It's not a
No,
Yakuza game, right?
I have quite a few, or I have a first one, and then there was Ishin. I think I have that one. So I have 2 of them. But there's so many like that studio releases quite a lot of games that within that franchise. I think
Large studio. I prefer
no,
the
I know.
action over the shoulder one, but
No, I know, but I'm saying that I think Tekken might be. I didn't even know I didn't even know about this one until just.
I think Tekken, but I'm most excited about Hades 2, but that's not gonna win. Final Fantasy is gonna win.
Yeah, I genuinely believe they are in the order that they are talked about. Like Tekken.
When I saw this list, the only 2 I was like, it's either Final Fantasy or Hades.
Yeah, when it comes to Final Fantasy, like
Hades.
it's Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. So it's 7, not just any Final Fantasy. It's the most popular Final Fantasy, and it's the most anticipated thing with regards to Final Fantasy 7, the sequel to Remake, which was again very, very well received. There is all the zeitgeist around it, like, does Aerith die? Does she survive? What are they changing? What are they doing? Oh, kind of thing. There's a fuckload of hype. Hades 2 has a huge fandom. Like a Dragon, likewise, has a huge fandom. I don't think it's big as Hades, but I think it's huge. Star Wars Outlaws is one of those games that is like talked about in the shadows, like, oh, it's a Star Wars game. It might come out, hopefully. We'll see, kind of thing. And then Tekken is, whilst I used to love the Tekken games, they are probably one of the least popular franchises in the fighting game space. Like, they are massively below Street Fighter 6, and then Mortal Kombat's appear off screen, kind of thing. In terms, if you had a graph, like, Tekken is flatlining. So yeah, that's I think they're in the order of
I guess
how anticipated they are.
In Like a Dragon, in my chat, it's the main character might die. I guess that's why it's so anticipated too. The fan base.
I think it's the passing of the torch from one person to another.
Yeah,
the person
I think
the
so.
that
makes a lot more sense now, knowing that. But I'm voting for Rebirth. I think unlike Final Fantasy 16, I think the Final Fantasy 7 just has such a significantly larger fan base in general.
Silksong isn't on there.
Yeah, but Silksong might not get made at this rate. Like, fuck knows what happens.
I was just reminded that I am looking for.
Yeah, no, 100%. Content creator of the year. This is a weird one because I only know 2 of the creators, and that's Iron Mouse and People Make Games.
People make games. They make fantastic video essays.
Yeah,
like actual content.
Who did you vote for? I don't know who any of these people are, so I don't care.
I only know of 2 of them. I think at least one of these is probably Spanish based and will be huge in Spain. But I have no idea who they are, so I can't really vote. But
I can't.
People Make Games do make cool shit. I know Iron Mouse is popular.
Okay. Who do you?
Best esports game. This is probably the only esports one we'll bother answering. Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, PUBG, or Valorant.
Valorant will probably win.
For the best esports experience. Why do you think Valorant will win?
Experience. Well, Valorant has got. They learned a lot from League of Legends, I think. The experience, if that's what it's specifically about.
My God, I don't know anything about this.
Like support, like updates. Like I think Valorant is probably doing good here. We just had a brand new Counter-Strike, so I don't think it's had enough time to bed in. Dota 2 is fine. League of Legends is fine. PUBG Mobile. Why is there a mobile game in here? Fuck off.
I had no idea. I think it's going to be between either Valorant and Counter-Strike or League and Legends and Valorant. The reason I say Counter-Strike is because it is the slightly it is very, very similar to Valorant, but it is simpler, so it's a lot easier to understand what's going on. Like anyone can jump into it and be like, oh yes.
Valorant is more of a hero shooter.
Yeah, so you got to so you got to learn all the special abilities, all that shenanigans in Valorant, whereas in Counter-Strike it's like, oh, that person just did a sick shot because he did a sick shot, you know what I mean? So it's easier to follow. But Riot in general just have huge support for the esports scene as well, like with all the tournaments and things like that, and like community tournaments and things like that. So that's why I suspect it will be probably Valorant, but I again wouldn't be surprised if Counter-Strike win it because the pioneers in the esports space. I don't think
it's had enough time to bed in yet.
Yeah. That's fair. Next.
Faker. Next.
I just ran through all these. I was just like, I turned off my mic. I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck they are.
Faker is a go.
I do think it's cool that they have a best coach, just to be clear. I think that is cool.
That is cool, but I don't know anything about this. I don't follow esports.
And that is it for the categories. So yes, Baldur's Gate 3 are going to win. Do we want to go to a quick break, or should we go jump into the announcement and then break?
Announcement then break.
Announcement then break.
Announcement then break. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so as it is episode 20, we've got an announcement to make. Something that we have got planned for future episodes, future projects, things like that.
Should we save it so people stick around after the break?
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine because we've got Warhammer, which will clearly bring them back
Warhammer
into the
next! Don't
second
miss
half.
Warhammer! I will climb through this monitor.
There you go. So we are announcing our Patreon. The fully rendered Patreon. It is live right now. We'll go quickly through some of the things you can get. Basically, if you like what you see and you want to see more of it and you want to see us invest more time into specials and things like that, this is the best way to get us to do that. So you've got a $1 $1 a month tier, which is ad-free episodes. So all the episodes will get uploaded. You get the break in the middle if you don't watch it live. You get everything, no editing. It's just the entire episode with no ads, which is pretty cool. Obviously, if you watch it anywhere else, Twitch, YouTube, etc., there are ads.
If you're watching us on YouTube, mics are hot during the break, but we edit it out for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Brian edits it out for you
yeah.
guys.
So sometimes there's like funny conversations that you guys miss out on if you watch it on YouTube. You also get your name added to the credits, which will be at the end of every episode moving forward. So you'll be able to have your name showing up going, this is someone who contributes. There's another part that elaborates on that later on, but we will see when we get there. The next tier is the $5 tier. You get all those previous benefits, but you also get to submit questions for us to answer. So you will have the opportunity to submit a question that you just really, really want either one of us or all of us to answer. It doesn't have to necessarily be about gaming. Obviously, if you ask us something weird like what size are our feet, we're going to be like, no, not today. But if you're otherwise like, oh,
not today.
Yeah, what's your opinion of this situation going on with the shish kebab people or whatever kind of thing? You know, there's going to be multiple submissions and we'll pick one out of it. Sometimes more than one, but that is your opportunity to ask us what you want and the best way for us to answer it. The following tier is the $8 tier. Again, all the previous benefits, but you'll also get access to a special episode every month, once a month. So, for example, Peachy teaching Pope about Warhammer is one of the things that we've got lined up.
I'm very excited for
there
that
is
episode.
actually going to be a special.
Good episode.
It's probably going to be the first special that we do. So if you want access to those specials, then they will be as part of the $8 tier. Then there is the $13 tier, which is all of that again. But you also get to suggest topics that you want us to touch upon. We'll do like a poll. Here's some topics. Which ones are you most interested in? You will have some choice in what we actually discuss in future episodes. And then there's the Whales of 69 because it's $69 and it's for whales. All benefits from the previous tiers, confirmation that you are bad with money, and we might give you a verbal shout out for your insanity, which links to the credits. So if you are crazy enough to do that, we'll probably say your name out loud for everyone to hear.
And berate you.
So you can be a whale of the 69. So there we are.
Hit it so much.
I will absolutely full hard.
I had an argument about the name, but Brian's like, they need to know it's a meme. Yeah, but it's horrible, Brian.
No one thought of a better name, but I'll post links in chat if I don't have.
I had a much better name. It was
Brian,
like, let's just cut this.
I really think that we should have added in that I will berate them for spending that much money.
No, that's a kink thing. We're not doing that. It's not that kind of show.
No kinks.
No kinks? Okay.
We're not addressing the kinks.
I didn't assume that.
But yes. So that is the Patreon. Like I said, we've got ongoing like projects that will be coming out that we may add to it as separate tiers or add into tiers later on. But this is what you can get at the moment. It will help fund us making specials and things like that.
Yeah, well, we could fine tune things too as we go.
But if you wish to provide support, that's where you can find it. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube and all that shenanigans as well.
Thank you very much, guys.
Now, let's take a quick break because we are running substantially over.
Yes.
But we'll take a quick break, 5 to 10 minutes, get yourselves a drink, go straddle a horse temporarily, and then come back, and then we will continue with part 2 where we talk about Warhammer and I believe one other subject. See you shortly.
Just put me in jail again.
Ah, my
Fine,
camera's
guys,
gone.
it's fine.
There we go. I'm back. Welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of episode 20 of the Fully Rendered podcast.
This is a wave.
are going to...
I was eating a grape when you turned the camera back on.
Sorry, say again.
Yeah, I was eating a grape when you turned the camera back on.
Grapes.
They were delicious.
I must be behind on my stream. Oh yeah, you were missing. There's a big old gap. There he
Yeah,
is
I
with his
disappeared
majestic
briefly.
lion hair.
He has such nice hair today.
He's majestic, Brian.
Lion hair. But yes,
It's very shiny, Brian.
it's very shiny. It's because the purples
Speaking
are
of the
washed
lion.
out, so it's basically just blonde and silver at this point. But yes, stuff from the Warhammer.
Warhammer. Speaking of the lion, there are some Dark Angels coming up. Right.
Yeah.
So, it was the World Championships preview. Well, it was the World Championships where people play Warhammer against each other and see who's the best. The championships. It's kind of in the title. Anyway, they do a preview to make people watch. You know, it makes sense. They've got a lot of people gathered. They're going to make some announcements, and we have 10 announcements. 11 announcements. Some of them aren't as interesting as the others, but first of all, we had Old World Tomb Kings.
Like this
As you can
guy.
see on screen, it is the Necrolith Bone Dragon.
That's fucking cool, dude.
It sounds really cool, but it looks like they're giving you, I don't know, 20p worth of plastic, and that's going to be a 50 quid model, I reckon, maybe more.
Yeah.
It is a
looks
centerpiece.
really nice. It looks very nice.
But this is the old world. This is because Warhammer Total War did really well, so they brought back the old world, which is the old version of Warhammer, which they turned into Age of Sigmar. I don't think it's going to sell very well, but I'm sure some people are excited about it, and it is a nice centerpiece model. But it doesn't.
It's kind of neat. I don't even play Warhammer, and I would like it.
It doesn't float my goat though. Probably because I'm looking at that going, oh, I'm going to paint it white, put a wash on it, highlight it. It's boring to paint.
Oh, boring to paint. That makes sense.
To me, no, it doesn't float my goat. My goat? It doesn't float my goat.
Your goat. It's not floating your goat.
Secondly, these are more floaty goaty. They've got the new Flesh Terracourts. There's an army box coming out. Brian, okay?
I was just getting my goat.
God damn it.
Sorry.
Does
I
it
thought you
float?
got
Just
hurt, and it's like, I'm just getting my goats.
Anecdotally, I posted a video once where I was like, and it really grinds my goat, which is 2 different idioms that I've put together. And I don't even have a goat. And then one of my mates was like, he just sent me a goat in the post. And I was like, oh, cool, I've got a goat now. So this is the goat. But, apologies. Continue.
So Brian did get his goat. Good.
I got my goat.
Okay, next, the Flesh Terracourts. There's going to be a big army. But did I give you 2 pictures or 1 picture for this, Brian?
The next
I think
one
it was just the one.
Yeah, I got it. So yeah, it's just the one.
Yeah. So there is an army box with everything you can see there is in the army box. The Flesh Terracourts are brilliant. They think they are aristocratic, pompous, fancy vampires. But they're actually not. They are diseased in the brain. There is a character that is a judge, and he's dressed like a judge. He looks like a judge. He's got the judge's wig on and stuff, but it's actually intestines, and he's got a little ruff underneath. They don't actually realize they are hideously ghoulish monsters, and they all dress like aristocrats, or think they do. It's mostly bone and intestines and stuff.
Right.
It's good they're getting a new box because the other stuff doesn't really reflect that aspect of them. So this is cool if you're an Age of Sigmar person. Next is Warhammer Underworlds. Underworlds is the board game. It's very much a board game. You're rolling dice and playing it as if it was a board game rather than a skirmish or battle game. And these are Dagox Stab Lads.
I like
I
it.
love that name.
I
The
like
new
it.
warband, they come with all their cards and stuff like that.
Stab lads.
So the guy with the
See.
they're brilliant. Very thematic.
That's good.
The guy with the spear, he's trying to be the most cunning, right? And then I'm going to be the most cunning. And how he does that, he takes the heads from other cunning orcs and collects them and takes their cunning. So he becomes more cunning by he only needs the head, apparently.
Right.
But that's for the board game. It's a little warband for Warhammer
That's
Underworld.
so charming. I love that.
So that's pretty cool. Next, they get more exciting as we go. Next, Necromunda, specifically Necromunda Ashwaste. There are two versions of Necromunda. You got Necromunda, which is inside cyberpunk, grimy gangs fighting gangs, and then you've got the Ashwastes, which is Mad Max the War Game.
Right.
And they're like, look at that image. That is so cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm not
like
a huge
that.
fan of Ashwaste. I prefer standard Hive Necromunda, but like Mad Max in 40k is cool. It's like a little microcosm of all the stuff you can get.
I love
from
Mad
40K.
Max. You had me at Mad Max.
And this is the, what is this, Brian? This is the
Little
Taurus
buggy.
Venator, which is the who is it? The Palanite Enforcers. It's a big, beefy, heavy vehicle. That's probably going to destroy stuff if you play Ashwastes. Look at that.
The little buggy.
Chonky.
He's a
And
little
it's not that
buggy.
little. That's quite big. That is
That's
quite
big
big.
boy. Yeah, I know. I like that chunky boy.
Mate, it's a 2-seater.
It's good. Look at the guns on the back.
It's a little buggy.
Look at that thing. That is
the
a beefy
guns,
boy.
Brian.
Guns, Brian. Which is pretty cool. What else we got? Oh, we got new Horus Heresy, Legions Astartes. Mark.
These are chunky
6.
boys too. I love them.
Funky boys
This is
with pointy
Mark
faces.
6. There they are. The Mark 6 Assault Squad, which is the
Pointy face.
Orbid, Thorax. It's got the beakies. These are the beakies. So these have been
Beakies?
updated, and they got jump packs, which is pretty new. But they're the new posed sculpts. I believe they said you can run them like this with a bolter and a chainsword, but there are other options in the box as well, which is pretty cool. And that's for the Horus Heresy. Yeah, jump packs. Basically, we got jump packs. Next thing, pre-orders went live for Legions Imperialis. Now, this is the epic scale. Now, a Space Marine. Oh, I'll just show this one. A Space Marine is about this big. The Legions Imperialis, which is the stupidest name. I'm going to call it what we all know it should be called. Teeny weeny Space Marine. They're like this big. Like up to
Agreed.
the knee. They are tiny. The teeny weeny Space Marine. It actually looks pretty cool. They are such small scale that it's not exciting me too much to paint them, but they have little miniature Titans, which do interest me because a Titan is about $1,800, and it's huge. It's like this big.
Oh,
But
so these are
because
smaller than the usual ones. So these aren't
Yes, this
these
is
aren't
called
marine
epic scale.
sized. Right. Okay.
They are not. They come up to about the knee.
Right.
About there. They are very tiny. They're not like super high in. Well, they are high in
Space
detail because they're very small. Teeny weeny Space Marine. That's what we're calling it.
Oh, that's so cute.
People were guessing on the price of this box set, and they got all the bits together and went, "Oh, it's this much of value," and because they're putting together, we'll bring that down a bit. And they guessed around $200.
All right.
The box set,
Okay.
2 armies, £90. So from £160 that people were guessing to £90 is how much this is. Pre-orders on the website sold out immediately, but your LGS, they've still got them. I don't think these are selling like hotcakes, but I'm kind of interested. But I probably will. I will probably skip this. But it is kind of cool.
Starting point though, I guess, for someone trying to get into the hobby. Like,
Well,
here's
this
two
is
armies. Oh, I can play this with my kid or with my brother or whatever.
They do this with box set. Well, a cool thing they've actually done with this box set is you can paint them as 2 separate and have 2 smaller armies fight each other, or you can
That's
use the
kinda neat.
entire box. Because you've got Marines that can team up with the other guys. Solar, I forget what they are because I don't care. So this could be a giant army box or 2 armies. You could split it, or you could have it at home to have your friends play, or you can have an entire large scale army. It does seem cool because you can get a large army, but they just, I don't know. They don't excite me to paint, but it's quite large scale because it's such a small scale. It's a large scale battle because everything is so much smaller than it should be. And we can actually do something with Titans now, which is pretty cool. And those gone live now. Your LGS have probably got them, but Warhammer is out. Warhammer.com, the new website, which is going really well. We didn't touch on that last week. It's a terrible website.
And
Next one, we got some Dark Angels.
Woo!
We've got a new sculpt of the chaplain, the Dark Angel chaplain.
the guy.
Oh, look at him. Oh, that is Asmodai.
Oh,
He's a vapor.
Interrogator chaplain. He's got so many weapons. He's got this giant greatsword. He's got his Crozius. The Crozius is a weapon that all chaplains have, Pulp, and it's like a club, but at the molecular level, it can split atoms, so it can also slice through people.
ooh, ooh!
He's got some crazy gun on his back.
I like him.
He's got his iron halo.
No kinks on the stream again, please. Thank you.
No kinks on the stream.
Okay, sorry.
That kind of show. Yeah, I assume they're going to be doing a lot more with it because the line is back now. They're probably going to be doing a lot more narratively with the Dark Angels. So it makes sense that they're making some more Dark Angels for now. Following on by the Dark Angels is the next one, the Deathwing Knights. These are specifically Terminators for the Dark Angels, and they look fucking beautiful. They look so good. They've got iconography on them, and so you really have to kit bash them to put them somewhere else. But they look great. They're the Terminator surround in their armor. Terminator armor is basically you've got the repelling force of a tank, but you walk in it. That's the Terminators aren't flashy and they don't run about and jump, but they teleport and walk towards you very slowly with so much fire power that you can't do anything. They are beefy boys, and they got this cool little archway going above their head. These are just dope, and I don't collect Dark Angels, but I might get some.
I'm going to step away for a bit. I have to go pick up my dog.
Warhammer. Damn it.
No worries.
I know.
Okay,
I
we'll
wanted to be here for the Warhammer, but I will be right back. I promise.
See you when you get back.
Okay, so that's the Deathwing Knights. They look very cool.
Yeah.
I kind of might just paint one for a laugh.
Sword and board always looks cool for some reason, especially if you have like a Crusader vibe to it, kind of thing.
Yeah, those are Calibanite swords as well, so that's pretty cool. Something that got me super excited, not because of what it is, but what it means. So there's been a lot of
Cyborg.
Let's talk about this. This is a plastic kit of Orican the Diviner. One of the best recent books is called The Infinite Divine, and it is Orican the Diviner and Trazyn the Infinite.
Okay.
Now, Trazyn the Infinite is probably the better character, but Orican is really good in it. Now, they have only released these previously that's the wrong one, Brian.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so Orican and Trazyn, they've only got them in Citadel Finecast.
Right.
This is what I think of Citadel Finecast. It's terrible. Oh, be okay. You're the only one I got. It was expensive. It's terrible. It's bad. The detail sucks. The mold line sucks. The pose is okay, but they were just really bad. And now this is in plastic. I'm calling it now. There is going to be a Trazyn the Infinite model, and I'm going to buy the shit out of it. Only once, but I'm going to do it real hard because I've been, and I need to replace these Finecasts. I've had these for 6 months, and I cannot bring myself to paint the absolute shit that is Citadel Finecast.
That's fine.
It's really bad. But now they're in plastic.
What is this guy? Is he a cyborg? Is he a Tyranid? Or like he seems to have multiple vibes?
So these are the Necrons. These are completely, entirely robotic.
Okay.
And immortal. They were originally the Necron tier, who were they lived on a world, and they didn't live very long because their sun was so close and just beamed their bodies with radioactivity.
Okay.
And they made a deal with some gods, as you do, to live forever. And they took their souls out of their body and put them into this living metal. So these construct, they kind of look a bit like Terminators, but they got the skull faces and stuff. They kind of got an Egyptian vibe to them. Their power structure is quite Egyptian. They have like tomb kings and stuff like that. But yeah, these have been, the Necrons have been sleeping for God knows a very, very long time, and they're just starting to wake up. I mean, they have been for the last couple of thousand years, but they're just starting to wake up, and there has been a new codex. This is the next thing, a new codex with a new narrative, which is the Pariah Nexus. They did an animation. There's new that's the story code. It's not a codex. The codex has already come out, I believe. This is new, the new narrative campaign. So this is where the story is going. Something to do with Necrons. I assume there's stuff with Dark Angels. But this is where the story is going to go. The Pariah Nexus was very cool. The animation, it could have done with a little more time in the oven, but I think for what it was very cool. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's some weird shit going on that I don't understand, and I've been into Warhammer for a long time, so I'm excited to see where this new narrative is going to go. Robots that don't die in the game, Necrons can die, and then on a certain roll, they can just get back up again.
Right. Okay.
It's living metal; it repairs itself,
right.
and there are also Necrons that can just transfer their soul into another body. They can just take over another construct if they want to.
Okay.
That's very difficult, but they can, like, the more powerful ones can definitely do that.
Right.
And the last thing, the thing that I am unfortunately really excited for, is we have a new kill team. Now, I've just started reading a book called The Soul Hunter. And before that, I couldn't give a shit about the Night Lords, but The Soul Hunter is such a good book that makes you care about the Night Lords that you can see on screen right now are psychopathic killers. They wear the enemy's skin upon them. They use terror tactics. They scare you to death, and they kind of get off on the fear as well. So that's, and I was like, oh, they're just edgy edgelords. And I read this book, and I'm like, oh no, this is really good. I kind of like Night Lords. Oh, but all the sculpts are old, and I'm not really interested in them. And now they've given us brand new sculpts. These are based off the Chaos Warbands models, right, but they are very Night Lords. And that guy you can see on screen now, back with the cape. That is a cape made of skin of their enemies. And there's a guy with a banner, and he's got an Astartes, a space marine, half of him just hanging up on a banner. You can see like the black carapace there. It's pretty messed up. And there's a chainsword made out of the, it's the coolest, most metal chainsword I've ever seen. It's made out of the rib cage of someone, and there is a chainsaw coming through it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, yeah, I could not care less about the Night Lords until I started reading Soul Hunter, and I thought I was safe. I thought I was okay. I thought I didn't need any more plastic.
So these guys are not chaos. They just have a chaos vibe.
They are chaos.
Oh, they are chaos.
They are traitor marines. A lot of this warband actually snub chaos. Some of them do have a bit of chaos to them, but most of them are like, no, we're against the Emperor because of the shit he did, so not because we want power from the evil chaos.
Are they part of Chaos Marines?
They are Chaos Marines. Technically, those are Chaos Marines, and they are under the banner of Abaddon.
Right.
So yeah, and there's like the Exalted, who is completely taken over by a demon. It's a Space Marine that's been taken over by a demon, and they are definitely traitor Marines. But it turns out from reading this book, they're not that into chaos, and some of them are like, don't know about this, guys, but these are the only people that are fighting the Emperor right now, so I guess we're here. They're a bit chaos undivided, and some of them are like, yeah, blood for the blood god.
Chaos by association. Basically.
Yes, no, that's true. They are actually a lot cooler than I originally thought them to be, because of the edgelord, I'm gonna wear your skin as a hat kind of thing. That was the preview. The most exciting there is probably the Night Lords kill team. Kill team, if you don't know, is a skirmish war game. It's like between 5 and 12 minis each side. Okay. It's a much smaller scale. It doesn't use the same rules.
So it's kind of like a team deathmatch rather than a full-blown war.
Kind of, yeah. It's just a little skirmish game. But you'll be using those. If you have a Night Lord's army, you're buying them. Probably a couple of boxes of those to put in your army because they're very nice sculpts. They're very cool. And that was Warhammer, everyone.
Did you want to elaborate on the stuff with the website?
Oh, yeah. So, Games Workshop is dead. Long live Warhammer. Games Workshop's killed Forge World and GamesWorkshop.com. Those no longer exist. It is now under Warhammer.com, which is probably the safest bet. Everyone knows Warhammer. They probably don't know it's made by Games Workshop. So
Okay, that makes sense.
It's called Warhammer. The site in places looks very nice. We have nice big pictures of minis we can flick through. It is a nightmare to find anything you want.
Oh, is there no like search functionality or anything?
What? No, there is search functionality. It's in there. But trying to navigate back and forth. Usually, when you go on Games Workshop, you're not going there to buy. You're going there to look at a bunch of different stuff, and then you'll probably get from your LGS, unless you just want to order it, which does happen. It's I don't know if they changed it, but the first page you go to it, it's not the shop. It's just welcome to Warhammer with some cheesy guy doing the Warhams.
Yeah, it's just a splash screen with an ad, basically.
Yeah. So this is their shop, right? Scroll down. You got a video. You scroll down again. There is a banner, and then there are 4 items for sale. This is a shop, which you can click off and get more. You need to search through to find stuff, and it will forget where you are. If you're like looking at Death Guard. And you're like, oh no, I want to look at other Chaos Marines. You have to go back to the start and go through again. You can't just switch back and forth. It's
iconic colors. Okay, cool.
So you know what I mean? I guess they're just trying to introduce people to the hobby.
Yeah, like where's the paints button?
Yeah, people are going there. They want to see the stuff and buy the stuff, and I don't think. Apparently, it was built for mobile. I will say that the screen when you get a product, you go onto a product page of like a mini. It's very well laid out, but there is so much scrolling. It's a lot of work to actually shop there in their shop. They've also got the Forge Wheel. Forge Wheel do all the resin ones. We've spoken about resin before, you and me, Brian. All their big, large scale resin is now rolled into the shop, and it doesn't really tell you which is plastic and which is resin. There's a little tag.
If you do want to use the site, by the way, to bring back the really helpful menu, you click on the button shop. Not a dedicated menu button. That's really weird. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, you think you click on shop, you go to the shop. No. It's janky. It's kind of made to look pretty, and in some cases it is very pretty. I think the functionality could get a bit of a bump up.
The UI is garbage.
Look at that page. You've got 1, 2, 3. You got 8 products on that page. What the fuck are you looking at? Like, it's just not good. They are definitely working on it, because universally everyone has been like, I like the pictures, but what?
I think it's so weird that you have to click on that to bring up the side menu. Then
like,
go back
you want
to
go
build and
anywhere,
paint,
Brian.
and then
Find me a Space Marine. Go find me a Space Marine.
Warhammer 40k, Space Marines. Sure. Like the menu itself isn't bad. It's the fact that it's essentially hidden. Like, I had to click around to find that menu, and it is obnoxious that you have to start from scratch each time.
Now, people are saying that, when you get used to the website, you'll be able to navigate around. But then why is this a website for welcome to the hobby?
It's still a terrible experience as well, though.
It's not a good experience.
Like, if I was someone who was coming to that website for the first time, and I was like, okay, I've got a bunch of friends or family members, whoever, have recommended this new hobby to me. Let's give it a ganders. I am going to get frustrated with that website and click off it. And
yeah, no, I agree.
That's obviously a barrier to entry you do not want, especially when it's such a simple one as let me show you things.
Yeah, right.
Like, let me show you the things to entice you.
It should be aching to show you stuff. You shouldn't have to work. And like I said, when you go into a product page, it does look nice. I will admit that. It's a bit spread out, but it looks. I need to put down Traz in the Infinite.
Excuse me. Yes, you let him, leave him alone.
I collected him. Yeah, I don't know. It's not good. It was universally panned, so they're obviously going to work on it. But I the product page is nice. The experience for navigating is the opposite of very nice.
That's right.
But yeah, all the resin's in there, but it's hard to tell which is which. And it is what it is.
Just get a 3D printer and make your own. It's fine. It's fine.
Don't do that. I got got some 3D prints from an 8K. It's the nicest I've had so far. Can I still see layer lines? Yes. Are the models sculpted, ready for a painter? No. Are they convenient? Yeah, kind of. They're kind of cool. I wouldn't recommend 3D printing if you're just going to make minis. I think that is more like terrain. I think that is brilliant for terrain. Absolutely amazing for terrain. And the odd model here and there that you're not going to get anywhere else because someone's had to make this on Hero Forge or wherever people make this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got
Warhammer.
2 other subjects, but I feel like we should wait till Pulp gets back. So should we jump into some of the filler?
Yeah, what's the filler?
So we've got Epic Game Store, not profitable.
Oh, yeah. To the shock of no one, Epic Game Store is not profitable and never has been.
So to elaborate on those listening, there is a court case ongoing with regards to Fortnite and is it still the Apple one? I can't remember which court case it is.
It is like, the Apple one, right?
Yeah,
the Fortnite Apple.
Yeah, Fortnite versus Apple and getting in-store purchases available through the game rather than through Apple's app, so they collect the 30%, etc. And it's been revealed as part of court documents that the Epic Game Store is still not actually profitable.
Of course it's not, Brian.
But it's to their surprise, it would seem. And I kind of get why, because obviously they've invested in exclusives. The cut for developers is quite generous, and I believe even in comparison to Steam and whatnot. But despite that, they haven't noticed that the shite UI just doesn't win people over, or the free games each month. The Epic's Game Store to me is free game simulator. Like I go into it once a month, I go, oh, free game, nice, sick, and then I close it down until next month. But yeah, it's I've not got beef with Epic's Game Store as much as you do, but I do appreciate that. It's
not a nice place to go shopping, you know?
Yeah, it's not. It's just kind of like meh kind of thing, and it has had a lot of issues with security and stuff in the past as well, security breaches and whatnot. So
I feel like I hate the idea of exclusives. Like I don't hate the idea of other stores. I hate the idea of exclusives. It's stupid.
Yeah. Especially when it's an online platform exclusive as opposed to like a console exclusive, which I still don't like, but
it's clearly harming some games, but those developers are guaranteed a payout. And I understand why a developer will go, oh, do we gamble and lose money? Or do we go, yes, and not as many people play our game? I think as a studio that wants to continue to making games, oh yeah, you know what? I'll take that comfort because I can do a lot with that and I can push forward. And eventually I can sell this game other places.
Yeah, a calculated risk, and then a year later their exclusive contract runs out and they go, oh, hey, Game Pass, so have you heard about our indie game? It's like, it's really good, it's doing well. Do you want to just like, oh, more guaranteed money? Thanks.
I feel like this, how long was the Final Fantasy one? It was just a couple of months, wasn't it?
I don't recall, to be honest.
Some of them have been quite short. Some of them are for a year and stuff. I'm not sure how long. Alan Wake is 6 months to a year.
I know some of them are 6 months and some have definitely been a year. So it's usually not too long.
The thing is, these contracts are costing millions and millions of dollars, right? They just don't do one of those, and they invest that into the app, into the actual store. I think that changes the scene for them. Surely, like one exclusive, like it's not like people have got Epic Game Store in to play Fortnite. That's why they have it, right? Unless you want to do stuff with their engine, which obviously you're going to have that. They're obviously making some sales off the exclusive, otherwise they wouldn't keep doing them.
I think with a mainstream audience, it probably has a lot more success, whereas with the capital G gamers, which is albeit a smaller audience, substantially smaller audience, it's probably the one that puts the most money into it over the long term. And we have established both on this podcast and on social media before, we tend to dislike change. So we've been raised by Steam at this point. So using anything other than Steam feels alien and weird. So we try and avoid it, even if it does provide a good experience, like GOG.
But I use GOG. I do use GOG, not as much, like, but I do use GOG. I don't hate buying games on GOG.
But if you're given the option, you're probably always going to go with Steam.
But if there is a huge, because sometimes GOG games, you get a big discount on there, and I'm like, oh, I want to play that, and I will buy it on GOG. If there's a discount on, I will very rarely, I think I've done it once in my entire life, gone to Epic Game Store, oh, this is on offer, I'm going to buy it here. If it's on Steam and on Epic, I'll probably just wait for it to go cheaper on Steam. If it was on GOG and it was a lot cheaper, I'd probably just buy it on GOG. So Epic are doing something wrong. Like, I don't like splitting up my libraries.
Yeah.
But I will if I feel like I'm getting a good value out of it. And Epic Game Store is doing something wrong because I'm not doing that over there.
Yeah. As I said, I literally open it up, get a free game, and then close it, and I'm like, "Cool, be back in a month." And then every now and then,
kills the hype for a lot of games that get like. I think I can perfectly understand and get behind a developer who wants a guaranteed payout so they can continue to work. Like, I hold nothing against those developers at all. I think that is correct.
I imagine that's going to happen a lot less often with these court documents coming out and people being like, "Oh, so it's not helping for sales much, hey?" kind of thing, and it's bringing attention to the fact that the Epic's game store is not as well utilized in comparison to other storefronts.
Thing is, a year or 6 months later, all the hype is gone, and they released on Steam, and they got nothing to. There's no hype left, so not as many people are playing games. What's more important, the developer being able to continue their job and make new excellent games, or more people playing that original game? Even like maybe more people are playing it, but they're not getting the payout in order to continue doing what they're good at and what they enjoy doing.
I think it would depend on the monetization model of the game, potentially. Like a free-to-play game probably would do better.
Yeah. If you're free to play, are you? Yeah. But what Fall Guys was that EGS?
Such as Fortnite.
Well,
Fall
Fortnite
Guys
is their game, isn't it?
Mediatonic got bought out by Epic, so it was on Steam. I think it eventually became an exclusive, but it had already established an audience by that point.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and now it's kind of like floundering. But is it floundering because it's on Epic Game Store, or is it floundering because people are getting over Fall Guys? Who knows?
I mean, I think that game has run its course, but I was over it quite quickly before it became an exclusive. I know people on consoles do stick it on and have a laugh, but they're not investing all this time into a live service, are they?
Yeah,
like with Fortnite.
It's a party game, isn't it? Really? Like you go, oh, there's a bunch of us. Why don't we fuck around in Fall Guys?
No one can decide what to play, and no one's going to be like, oh, I hate Fall Guys, because nobody hates Fall Guys.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird one. You asked something, sorry.
Darkest Dungeon. Yeah, my chat just brought it up now. I completely forgot about Darkest Dungeon. And that's why I didn't even think it's an exclusive, Epic Game Store exclusive.
It did eventually come out on Steam as well. I don't know how long it was. I think it was 6 months again, maybe.
I completely forgot about it, and the wind has completely come out of that sale.
I have yet to play it.
But they got paid for it. They made profit. Like, I understand it. They made profit, and they can make Darkest Dungeon 3.
Hopefully, because Darkest Dungeon 2 does look sick from what I've seen. I haven't played it, but I've watched a lot of people play it, and I'm like,
forgotten about it because of Epic Game Store. It's where games go to die.
Shall we move on to our favorite game engine, Unity, from one game engine owner to another one? Unity are
really.
They've basically, it's weird. They've announced that things are coming that are bad, including the ending of projects, the potential for layoffs and things like that. Basically, their little stunt probably impacted them a lot more than they expected, and it's now having a domino effect on the people that actually work at Unity. So do expect the layoff alarm to go off once again, probably before the end of the year. The next topic is the editor-in-chief of The Escapist was laid off technically, but fired. And basically his entire team followed him and was like, yep, well, fuck you guys. Did you watch the Yongji video?
Yeah, I watched the Yongye. There was another one I watched. There's also the podcast that's the Completionist is usually on. I started watching that, but then I had to stream, so I didn't get much from that.
Yeah, I saw the frames per second one.
They I haven't Seen that. I've actually still got it up there on my browser. Yeah, they fired them. Here's your payoff. Go non-competitively, blah blah blah, and everyone went nope.
Yeah,
and just left.
Yeah,
they took nothing. Well, I say they took nothing. They took literally everything because The Escapist is those creators.
Yes, 100%.
It's not the holding company, whatever they were called, which I've completely forgotten now because they are dust. All that talent, I knew there was talent there, but I'd stopped watching The Escapist because it was getting corporate. I'd catch some zero punctuation because, of course, but I haven't actually watched it for quite a while. Every now and again, I'll be like, "Oh, there's 4 episodes. I'll catch up on them."
Right.
But I didn't give a shit about The Escapist anymore, which is a shame because I've always enjoyed their content. And now I can, except it's called The Second Wind.
I think it's Second Wind now, yeah.
It's not a name Yahtzee already had the rights to before.
I assume so. So, like, because it all came together very, very quickly. So it looks like it's something they've had planned or a side project they've at least had, like, in there.
I think his original launch stuff before The Escapist might have been called Second Wind. I'm not entirely sure. Like basically, if everyone leaves, that fucks them up. But if they keep Yahtzee, they've got their one cash cow and they can probably continue to produce. But that team, I was like, the whole team? Like, that actually warms my heart that those creators actually care about creating content.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And also believe in a particular person. And so in the Frames Per Second interview, he said that he literally was aware of people, like senior management, referring to him as useless and things like that. Presumably because he wasn't or was holding back the corporate wall, as it were, and trying to, you know, make it more about the content and things like that. And then obviously he got fired. And the fact that everyone under him was like, well, if he's going, we're going because fuck you guys, kind of thing. Like they have so much faith in his leadership that they think, one, not only is it unfair, but a sinking ship if he's not the one at the helm, kind of thing. So I think that's really, really cool that they have so much faith in him, and they've just pretty much, as far as I'm aware, near enough all of them have gone to this next project, Second Wind, and are basically just gonna do it all again, but under their own umbrella and under their own brand. But apparently it's been very crazy because like people were like, where's this come from? Because like Second Wind seems to have come out of nowhere, and they were like, oh yeah, we're doing it on the fly. Like we were like, quit together, start a new place together. Yeah, start a new place together, let's get going.
2 days later they did a live stream where they went through everything. The next day they had a stream, just content. Then there was it's now called Fully Rambliotic. It's Yahtzee doing his thing. It's as it was. It's great. The theme tune is great. Also, because now I was like, oh, I'm gonna follow that because I don't have to fuck around with The Escapist annoying shit anymore. And I've just found creators that I didn't know existed because they were under the Escapist banner, and all I knew about the Escapist was that's where Yahtzee is. Their Patreon has blown up.
Yes.
They're gonna make it. They are going to make it, and judging by the 2 videos I've seen, and the live stream, they've got the stones to make it as well. The content is there. It was nothing to do with The Escapist. It was all of these people who have just left and told the rest of them to fuck off, which is terrifying, right? Just not even taking that payout just so they can like, I'm gonna do my thing. Obviously, no one was happy there. Like, obviously, everyone was
to unanimously lose
unhappy.
all your staff because of one like position change. Like
you can see like a beloved editor or whatever, and then people in solidarity saying stuff, or a couple leaving, but the entire team. That's not just like, oh, that was a really good guy. That is like, no, that is bullshit. And we are they are clearly a family because they just went, boom, let's just go. Let's just do it. And they've done it already. Like, are they like 500,000 or something? Where are they at now?
I think it was like 600,000 or something stupid like that when I last saw it. It was an insane amount.
No, 286,000. So over 250,000 already. And
talking, my camera died.
When was their first ever video when they went live? Was 3 days ago. 3 days ago they did a live stream, but 3 days ago is their first video. They're currently at 286,000 subscribers. There is we got Cold Take. I haven't seen some of this. So I watched Design Delve. It was great. I'm gonna watch a Cold Take. It's no longer hidden. It's no longer The Escapist. Look, watch. This is where I go to watch Zero Punctuation, because that was the only thing that was like profitable to the company.
Right.
Oh, and there's an announcement for another game from Yahtzee.
Another game?
Yes, Starstruck Vagabond. Yeah, that sounds like a Yahtzee game. It'll probably be artsy as fuck and also really done with fart jokes. Because he goes dark, but he loves the fart. Do you know what I mean?
Right. So yeah, basically, if you are a publisher or publication company, don't sack your chief of staff unless you want to lose all your staff.
Or if you do, treat everyone else a lot better.
Yes. Bribe them. Like, please stay.
Bribe them by being a good employer.
We do pizzas on Fridays.
They left, but we have pizza parties.
We have all these things.
Yeah. How about, good pay? Pizza party?
Pizza party.
Time and a half, because I'm putting all this effort in.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza party.
And you get to have one beer.
Yeah, the corporates are like, we're a family. They just say it. It's not true. They just say it. But Second Wind are clearly actually a family.
A family who are like, bye. We're going to make our own thing.
It made me happy.
Next thing is the Steam Deck OLED. Have you been having a ganders at the Steam Deck OLED?
No, because I have just no need for a portable.
That's fair. That's fair.
The ROG keeps throwing shit at me. The PlayStation, that's not really a portable, is it? It's kind of...
That's sold out. How is it sold out, Peachy?
Because they made 12 of them. There's no way that is sold out on merit, Brian.
It is sold out everywhere. I even checked. I was like, they must be artificially doing it. And it's Argos, Very, Amazon, the PlayStation site itself. It is sold out everywhere. So the stock must have been either minuscule or...
It has to have been.
What I think is more likely, because I was looking at the reviews from verified purchases, and there was loads of 5-star, and the 5-star were people who were like, I got this because I want to play it while my missus is watching EastEnders or whatever. And then there was loads of people who were going, oh, this is laggy as fuck when you take it out of your house, and it's really bad to get on like other Wi-Fi and stuff like that, and those were like really low. So I think it's people who don't know it's a remote play device and think it's a Steam Deck by PlayStation, basically. So all your dad gamers are like, oh, new PlayStation console handheld, sick. Oh, PSP, oh yeah. And then it's like, wait a second, it doesn't even have a browser. So if you were to go to like a cafe, like Starbucks, and use their Wi-Fi, it would open up a browser window so you could sign in and register. You can't do that on the PlayStation Portable. It doesn't support a browser. So half the places where you would want to use it outside of your house, planes, cafes, whatever, when you're commuting, you can't anyway because of that.
I will say this, Brian. The screen looks very non-reflective.
Apparently, a lot of people have said the screen's great. Like, a lot of people in like the pros and cons, apparently the screen is really, really good. But yeah,
it's a screen.
It's a £200 DualSense controller with a screen on it.
It's a Wii U. Oh my god, it is a Wii U.
It's not even a Wii U, because the Wii U you can at least use as a console standalone.
Could you? Oh, I didn't actually know that. But that's because 7 people bought a Wii U.
Yeah.
The same 7 that bought Final Fantasy.
Yes. Yeah. So
wow. I'm still standing by. They had these screens and they needed to do something with them, because what they wanted to do wasn't going to come through, because the R&D for making an actual portable it was too expensive, so they couldn't do it. And they're getting rid of these screens, and they've sold out because there aren't actually that many.
Thing is, they've made accessories for it. That like a lot of stuff that you use with it is proprietary. It doesn't support Bluetooth. So if you want wireless audio, you have to buy the proprietary earbuds or headset from PlayStation. You can't use any other Bluetooth device with it. And like, it's not even Bluetooth, whatever they're using. It's Sony Connect or whatever.
3.5 jack.
I think it might have a 3.5 jack, but for wireless audio, which is obviously a lot more common nowadays, like you have to spend at least 200 quid on the earbuds, or 300, I believe it is, for the headset. Doge!
Oh, I can't wait for the market to. Oh, Kona shame. Oh, I can't wait for people to run these numbers and find out what the truth is here, because they're sold out. It has to be like just not many to sell.
I think it's possibly.
Hi, sorry.
Welcome back. No, don't be sorry. But yeah, I think it's either or a combination of like slight artificial stock or lack of stock kind of thing. But I suspect over time we're going to see review scores go down and down and down as people are like, this isn't a portable device, this is a remote play device, and they just don't know, because at the end of the day, again, mainstream and dad gamers, they probably just saw a shiny thing announced on the PlayStation State of Play and didn't actually look into it properly. So that's my guess.
Yeah, because the purchase isn't extortion. It's not cheap, but it's not extortionate.
What exactly are you talking about?
Well, our favorite handheld console.
So the PlayStation Portal.
Yeah. Oh my god, I missed it. I saw that video. I immediately had to retweet it and tag Peachy and Brian.
Yeah, it's like, this is fire. It's like, no, it's a controller.
I said to Peachy, I was like, that's too many fire emojis.
Yeah,
There's too many.
It's sold out, and it blows my mind that it's sold out, because the Steam Deck exists. And the OLED ones come out.
I just don't like, the only way I could see that thing still being useful, and I've said it before, is like if you have children and like maybe you're watching the game and your kid wants to play PS5 and you just go here.
Brian said, your wife's watching EastEnders and you want to have a quick dabble on what have we on PlayStation Play now? Spider-Man 2.
Alan Wake.
Final Fantasy 16.
Final Fantasy 16. So all 7 people who bought this handheld, because that was the entire stock, was sold out.
Yeah,
will be playing Final Fantasy.
That's actually. Do you think they only made like a small limited amount?
I still think my original guess is true.
I kind of did until they brought out the accessories, where they had these dedicated, ridiculously expensive
How difficult
accessories.
is it for Sony to give you some earbuds?
Oh, how difficult is it to add Bluetooth?
Of all
they probably have those on the shelf. With the radio antenna, is probably the fucking same. Someone could probably hack that to have Bluetooth. It's probably the same.
Probably.
Quite possibly. Yeah, so
you're saying you're gonna buy one just so you can hack it?
No,
and put it in Bluetooth?
Not for £200, we're not, no. Especially
yeah, that's right. I forgot how expensive that thing is.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's priced cleverly, because £200 is not
let me look this up.
It's not cheap, but it's not like new console money.
But it is like refurbished Steam Deck money.
Yes, but people with PlayStations probably aren't getting a Stream Deck.
But they should be.
They should, but as you have said to me before, that's not what people are like.
It's $199.99. You know, they did that clever pricing. But
under $200
itself is already
160 quid.
Is the system itself is already what, 600?
How much is a controller?
How much
is it? Like 80 quid,
oh my god,
right?
I actually don't remember how much it was.
So to answer these questions, the console was around about 350 to 400 quid. Dollars. That depends on which one you want. It can go up as much as like 550. I believe,
what's
for
the
full fat
one? The full fat one.
So that's about 450 to 500. The controllers are all about $100 each. The controllers are very expensive.
You know what? I was thinking. I just remembered the Slim came out too. So
yes, that's very recently come out.
So I saw on QVC, you could get the Slim 5 disc console with, and it comes with. Don't laugh. It's on QVC.
It's on QVC.
And it comes with Call of Duty 3, but that's like a whole package. And that's why I remembered seeing 700. Well, I said 600.
So for 50 extra bucks, you can buy a Slim.
Yeah.
For 50. So for.
Bearing in mind also, like it's.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's
you
a
can
remote
just
play
buy the Slim.
device, so you could literally just buy a controller that goes over your phone for like $50, or you could get the Logitech, which is $250, which is a streaming device, so you can reliably play games outside of your house without your PlayStation being on, without having to own another device. You can just play GeForce Now, whatever, and then for like another $100 on top, you can get a Steam Deck, which is literally a handheld PC.
Yeah.
And then the OLED one destroys everything because it's got the new OLED screen, it's got the new sound, it's got better battery life, it's got a whole host of other changes that they've made.
And you could take it out of your house.
And you can take it out of your house. You don't even have to be connected to the internet.
People are taking this out of their house. Brian has just told me that people are complaining it's a bit laggy when you take it outside.
Yeah.
It's laggy. I don't know why.
So laggy. I think the recommendation is like, you have to have 5 meg for minimum spec down the connection, then 15 meg if you want the ideal amount of transfer speed for the streaming.
Wow, okay, 15's a lot harder to reach.
Well, the thing is, you got to bear in mind, it's streaming from the PlayStation, so you're probably playing an online-only game, which is streaming to your PlayStation. Right. You're then streaming from the PlayStation.
Is on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, then from your PlayStation to the portal device, which also has to stream stuff back in terms of inputs and whatnot. So there's like layers of traffic. So most people who've got like ISP provided modems or routers at home are probably actually struggling to get enough bandwidth to play these games, because you're going to be competing with mobile phones and everything else that's on the Wi-Fi as well. Like, that's actually going to be pretty beefy.
I've never heard someone say router.
Yes, router is how the Brits say router.
I just like that's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, because you get a route on a map. No, a router is when you route out the stuff in the wood.
I just heard that and I got sorry. I just like my brain just was like,
router.
No worries. Almost every American that I hear or who hears me say router then pauses and goes,
there's like companies like called Roto-Rooter, and that's specifically for like plumbing.
Brian even says it fancy. He pronounces the T. I just say router.
Router. Mate. I actually posted on Instagram the other day about people trying to guess where my accent's from.
I saw.
But no one has any idea where I'm from if they were just to listen to my accent, which always tickles me. But so yeah, like the OLED, it's it's actually really, really cheap. Like,
is it the same price as the original, or is it
it's slightly more, but it's literally slightly. Okay. It's not like, I think the Switch was like, for the OLED, it was a good like $100 more or something stupid like that.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like $30 more for the OLED Steam Deck compared to the original Steam Deck.
Yeah. Well, the original the
the
original Steam Deck. Apologies. Is now $400, and then it's So now the OLED is $549 with the and it's double the space on it. So that's actually a lot more reasonable. It's way more. It's way more beneficial to just to get the OLED.
Yeah, you get like a good at least 2 hours out of most of the games that you'll be playing.
And only for $100 more, you get a whole terabyte.
Like the menus and stuff are a lot faster and things like that. Apparently, the screen's sick. It's got a higher refresh rate. It goes up to 90 Hz.
What's the res?
60.
Is it 900 still?
1280 by 800.
Okay, 800. Oh, I thought it went up to 9. Okay.
The actual size of the screen is 7.4 inches, whereas before it was 7 inches. So they've gotten.
What's the Switch size? I'm trying to think of a
I think the Switch is 7 inches as well.
Is it 7 inches? Okay. Hold on. Let me look this up. Switch screen size. I think that's the original Switch. I should probably put OLED because I have 7 inches. You're right. Yeah. So that means the Steam Deck is a little bigger.
It's a little bigger because of the bezels. So the actual handheld isn't bigger.
6 inches.
6 inches.
It's
6.2
measured.
actually when I looked it up. It said 6.2.
I don't know.
But-
I don't know what a point of an inch is because it's a stupid freedom measurement.
Whatever. It's not the
Whatever,
size
bro.
It's what we
not
still
the size
use,
that
being.
matters here.
I don't.
It's not about the
Oh,
size.
I actually had to figure out my height in inches the other day. I was like, wait a minute. I've got a meme in my channel. I did the meme in my channel. It tells me my height in inches.
I'm
Nice,
62 inches. That's it.
Oh, Brian, my chat is asking, are you from the town Bellend?
No, I'm not from the town Bellend. I am not. I am going to take that as pure comedy and not an insult.
It wasn't an insult, judging by who asked it.
Yeah, but no, I am not from the town of Bellend. I used to live near the land of Nod, though.
Yeah. I only found out that was real when Brian told me. I thought it was a meme.
Yeah, an actual place. A remarkably dull place, but a place that exists nonetheless. Which
It's
must be
quite
why it's the
sleepy, I
land of Nod.
assume.
Yeah. Moving on. So there was two subjects we wanted to
Oh, we got to go through all the
save
Warhammer stuff again for
and
Pulp.
go
Okay,
back
so
through all the
Pulp.
Warhammer.
Okay.
No.
Warhammer.
No, we did all that.
So let's talk about the slightly light-hearted thing.
Okay.
Live action
Okay.
Zelda's been announced.
I thought that was announced a while ago.
No,
Is this new information?
Nintendo have actually officially announced it.
Oh, they officially. Oh, okay, then that's what it was.
Like John Nintendo, I can't remember his name. He came
Oh,
out.
Nintendo.
He took over the Nintendo Twitter, did a Japanese tweet, and then did one in English saying, "Oh yeah, we've had this project working for a while, but we're officially announcing it." It's got Wes Ball, I want to say, as the director. When I first heard about it and they said Wes, I was like, Wes Anderson, this is going to be amazing. But no, it's Wes Ball. He has,
I'd watch that.
yeah, I'd be so down for a Wes.
It'd be
Anderson
fucking
one.
weird, but I'd watch it.
It'd be amazing. But yeah, Wes Ball, he has done some pretty good movies.
Yeah, that name rings a bell somewhere.
He did the
Who's
Maze
Wes
Runner
Ball?
movies. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is coming out next year, so he's the director of that one. Mouse Guard. But yeah, so it's mainly the Maze Runner films. I remember watching the first one and the second, I want to say, and they were enjoyable entertainment. I do wish it was Wes Anderson though, because that would be amazing.
Wes Craven's Zelda.
I just saw, I went to go look it up, and one of the top, there's a Forbes article that says Machine Gun Kelly reminds us is why a live action Zelda is a terrible idea.
Oh, thanks, Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, thanks. I guess he wants to play Link.
I
thing is-
think it could be. I
will
think it's a
not
good
watch
idea. It could be good.
I think
Yeah, it could be good. Not if Machine Gun Kelly plays as Link, though. But
I think it could be good. And people, when they found out it was Wes Ball, they raided his Twitter, and they found that years ago he was like, "Oh, wouldn't it be sick if I could make a Zelda movie and stuff like that," and talked about gaming. So he seems to be an actual fan. So that's very reassuring. But Link doesn't talk.
no, he doesn't.
He will in the live action movie.
That's
We
the thing, is,
presume so, and
it
if so,
works.
how?
It surprisingly worked for Mario because, we already had sound bites in it, of him going "Oh, Mamma Mia" and all that.
All we
Yeah.
had was woohoo.
Yeah.
Although I'd watch that
I
movie.
can't- my voice is still fucked up from COVID if it's not obvious.
Right.
But Link,
He
dude,
makes noises,
okay,
sure.
let's be real. No, let's be real. There was the Captain N episode with Link, and
he's cringy fucking
he's
insult
cringy
boy.
as fuck. If they do it, if they,
No, they
do,
won't. They won't, they won't.
no, I know, but
It's lame.
I would love. Excuse me, princess.
Excuse me.
princess.
12 people in the audience remember the Captain N show. And 2 of them are right here.
I had to show I showed a few of my friends the Captain N episode with Link where he a terrible voice actor where he goes when he's trying to find an iron knuckle. It's the funniest thing ever. If you don't know, I've never seen it, to anyone listening, please look it up. It is excellent, very cringe, and I will watch it.
A bit of money in that, the Avatar looks like it's going to be good. I might actually watch that. I think a fantasy
too.
story like Zelda, which doesn't really have a timeline, it's kind of a little bit wibbly wobbly.
So I was
fuck
actually
with
thinking that
stuff.
myself when I saw it on the agenda that we were going to talk about this. I was kind of thinking to myself, like, which Zelda would they do? Because if they did like, I mean, dude, I'm such a fan of Wind Waker. It's such a charming game, but like, it obviously that's not the one.
It's about themes, though. It's like Final Fantasy. They take all these themes and make a game out of it. They could do that very easily without pissing people.
Do you think it would be like Ocarina of Time?
No, it'll go, okay, we want to make a story, and we'll take all this stuff from all these games and make it feel like, because every Zelda game feels like a Zelda game, right? And it's not the same game.
Can you
Minish Cap.
Okay,
that's what they're going to do. Minish Cap.
Because I was thinking, like, I'm trying to think of a story that actually would work as a film. And, like, for example, like, I'm a huge fan of Majora's Mask for the themes, like, involved in it. And, like, how it's so dark. And the world is just, it's just an excellent game in, the, like, world building. But it would not translate well to a film.
I don't think they will. And I hope they don't.
No. I'm trying to think of like what game, like I guess you could do like the baseline of like the concept of like what.
That's what they should do.
That's what they should do.
And that's what I think they will do.
Which Link we need Danny McBride to play Link.
Danny DeVito to play Link.
Danny DeVito. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Danny.
Danny.
I love you, bro.
Happy birthday. Happy 79th birthday.
Random shout to Danny DeVito in the middle of the podcast.
Love you, Danny.
Love you, Danny. But like, yeah, because would you, okay, I guess like, good question to ask is like, would you prefer a younger Link, like as a child? Because the older ones, he was a child. Or the older Link, which would carry the film better.
It's kind of nebulous in most of the games. Ocarina of Time does focus on it because they got that mechanic.
No, in the older games, he was a child. In Link to the Past, he's a child.
Yeah, but
and Wind Waker, he's a child.
He was like
he's more often a child than an adult.
They will do a young adult.
I think
it will be a young adult. Right? It'll be a very handsome boy, no doubt. And they'll have whatever the princess will be, whatever is the most popular young adult actress at the time. And the storyline will be, because every time they take something and make a live action of it, they fuck with it because they're making a story, right? And everyone gets pissed off. And the only time they don't get pissed off is when they make The Last of Us. And then people like me are like, why would I watch that instead of playing the game?
The reason why I asked this is because when it comes to the Zelda franchise, there was like that's probably the most divisive with people, is like whether or not they like him to be an adult, if they want it darker or more cartoony, because they've done both. They've gone both ways when it comes to the game direction. And I will never forget how much people, like, how pissed everyone was when Wind Waker was announced, because they did the tech test for the GameCube for a darker Zelda, and that's what people thought that they were going to get, and then they announced Wind Waker. And Wind Waker is actually a really solid game, but it's cartoony and it's a child. People wanted an adult, and it's something darker. Then they got Twilight Princess, and that was weird.
I may be able to add something that will assist with your theory crafting. So
I'm not theory crafting. I'm asking you guys questions. What do you think?
Oh yeah. So this might help with the answers that are populating your heads. The tweet is from Miyamoto as opposed to John Nintendo.
Oh, John Nintendo didn't write this one.
So this is
John Nintendo.
This is John Nintendo. I have been working on the live action film of The Legend of Zelda for many years now with Avi Arad-san. That's the important bit. So Avi Arad has been a person who was like, you should make comic book movies, and everyone was like, that's fucking stupid. And then he went, yo, Marvel, let me help you out with some comic book movies, and then the MCU was born. He also was involved in Morbius.
Oh, literally the greatest movie ever made.
It's
Morbin time.
Yeah!
So he's had his hand in a lot of comic book based stuff. And obviously
we're horrible.
They do tend to be a little bit more adulty. Obviously they're aimed at like a PG-13 and higher audience generally. So I think he's going to
be
be
a PG. It's going to be a PG-13.
It's going to be PG or PG.
Young adults on the cusp of being a bit older, but still with that young, doe-eyed look and like optimism until you find out the world is just going to shit on you from day one. Sorry, I don't know where that came from.
Call me a contrarian. I would love to see one with a younger Link, like as a child.
I cannot stand child actors though, so I know.
That's why I don't like it. It's live action. That's precise. Like if they were to do animated, I know I'm alone. I'm not. That's not a very popular opinion, because like I don't think Zelda. I mean, Zelda works as a darker story, but I kind of like the more like having the lighthearted touch to it, because like I was actually this is something I was thinking about, like because it's a live action, why Mario being CGI works because of like how cartoonish in nature it is, but Zelda is pretty cartoonish at times with some of the characters, usually the side characters.
They have a lot of melancholic themes, though. I think
they do, but it's presented.
Majora's Mask was definitely the darkest.
Yes, it was, but. There's usually like side characters like that are written to be kind of like comedic relief, and like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is a good example. Like there's the little scientist girl that she accidentally turned herself into a child in Breath of the Wild. Like, there's like some cutesy, like some cartoonish like elements in it. And I'm wondering how, and I feel like some of that charm kind of is needed in Zelda, because otherwise it can be too melancholic. Like Link as a character by himself can't really carry a story on his own. If he's talking, yes, but not if they decide to go. He will
definitely be talking.
He's gonna have to talk.
Yeah.
but that's why all the other all the side characters kind of help carry the story in Zelda.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to be looking at young adults.
Yeah.
Like
I think it has a very good chance of being very good as well.
It could be. It depends on who they cast too.
Yeah. There's been a few names thrown about, and I kind of have one that I think would be a good choice, but at the same time, all I'm going to see is Spider-Man. And that's
he's a bit old now though. Well, I guess he can still.
Tobey Maguire?
No, not Tobey Maguire.
No, Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. Tobey
Maguire is Zelda.
Yep, sure.
Sold.
Let's go with it.
Tobey Maguire as Link. I'm signed up. Toby,
to be clear, I was referring to Tom Holland.
Link can be Danny DeVito.
Yes. Just a big, giant, fat, bald baby.
My dog's whining.
James, stop saying names. No, I could see that.
Oh my god, can you imagine just have Glenn Howerton as Link, so he's peeking? I haven't even begun to peek. That's your Link. And then you have Danny DeVito as Child Link. You have the whole Always Sunny crew.
And that's how it will work. But yeah, I think it could be good.
Tom Holland. I couldn't think of his bloody name.
I asked Tom Holland. I went when I hear Spider-Man, the first thing I think of is Tobey Maguire. He's my favorite. And then, but I asked, I was like, wait, Tom Holland. That's the other one.
Yeah, I think he could do it,
maybe.
but at the same time,
probably could.
You're just gonna look at him and be like, oh, it's Spider-Man, kind of thing.
Yeah, you have to be careful with that, because
like, what personality would Link have?
That's what I'm wondering.
Like he's
he
a
doesn't
silent
have
protagonist. Yeah, he's just a guy who swings a
everything,
sword about.
He? He's whatever. Like, video games are amazing because if your main protagonist doesn't say a word, it's not weird. Like it is not weird. It's the only media that can get away with that as well without it standing out.
And the thing is like, even with Mario, I mean, I understand what they were doing with the movie, because I just watched the movie last night, so it's fresh in my mind. You know how he was kind of like the reluctant hero.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I guess that kind of works. But I always considered him a willing participant. Like, he was always just like, all right, whatever, I'm just going about it. How about Tilda Swinton as fucking Link?
I'm getting loads of these. Mark Wahlberg
No, Marky Mark.
Please, no. Like, what
God.
happens if he enters like a kitchen? Are they going to make him go mad on all the pottery and stuff and just like just destroying
God.
everything? Like,
There's gonna
do
be
they acknowledge
Easter eggs
that?
like
Like,
there's gonna be Easter eggs like that.
It would be so much better, I feel, with CGI if we're for like gags like that. I mean, they probably could do like some sort of callback. Jared Leto, god damn it, no, no, Jared Leto. He's that's Morbius. He can't be Link.
yeah, I think we're going to be looking at people
It's
who are
iconic
like
as Morbius,
early
not
20s.
30 Seconds from Mars. It's Morbius.
It's
He's
just
iconic.
Morbius. That's what he's known for. I've never heard of 30 Seconds to Mars.
Should we move on
But,
to the last subject quickly?
Yes.
Sure. Well, there's not much we know about this yet because there's yet to be a reply, but we should cover it.
Yeah, so
It was a
for
shock.
we alluded to this earlier. There is a scandal, a controversy currently occurring with the Completionist, Gerard, who
Yes, I heard about this.
yeah, so he has had, well, not he specifically, but his charitable organization, air quotes,
Was it
there.
for people with dementia? Was that the charity? Okay.
So he's run a charity, or like a charity event, let's say, specifically for around about 10 years now. And it's run with his brother. And I think he's down as either like the CEO or at least some other C-suite position. And it's come out that none of the money that they have acquired over the like last 10 years has actually been donated to a charity.
It's sitting in an account.
Allegedly. We've seen paperwork to show that it's been received and not put anywhere, and then they've said, you know, this paper's still here. What is that noise,
We
by the way?
have seen receipts of the money exists.
Yeah, we just know the money exists. We just don't know where it is.
Yeah, 100%. So
it didn't go to where it was supposed to go. That's
what?
Yeah.
No, because they've never exclusively said where the money actually went when payouts were made, because payouts weren't made. So, but they have multiple times actually spoken about charities and put up testimonials from people from those who used to be at those charities saying, "Oh, we love working with them," blah 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 blah. It's rough because I kind of thought he was a stand-up guy.
So,
yeah, I didn't know much about him, but I would. That's pretty bummy.
So there is more to it. Obviously, people were like, "Oh, he must have known this." And I've met Gerard, and he is a nice bloke. And he has said that he didn't know that the money hadn't been actually allocated anywhere until last year. Yeah, and I can believe that because some people are C-suite in name only. And then just, especially when they're an influencer.
If he knew for a year, though,
but he's known for a year.
That's a concern. That's
and
a concern.
There has been a charity event where they were like, "Yeah, we donate it all to the charities," and blah, 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 since he found out.
So that if he found out last year, then that point's moot. If he hasn't done anything about it.
He has said on record, over an interview, was it with Some Ordinary Gamers? Maybe with Carl as well. I can't remember, but that he has been personally trying to find somewhere to give this money to.
Yeah.
But okay,
since he found out, that's what he said.
That's what he said, but that's only what he said. We don't know what he's done.
At the moment, the facts are for 10 years they've been raising a lot of money, and they haven't given it to a charity.
Is it 6 figures? It's 6 figures worth, right?
I believe
not
so,
7.
Yeah.
It is not an inconsequential amount of money. There is no there's no proof of it going anywhere else. Like all the receipts look legit.
I'm just more wondering for like, you know, for the sake of scope. You know,
I think it's
how much...
about $1 million, if I remember right.
Oh geez. Okay. It's more than I thought. I thought for some reason I had like around 600,000 in my head.
Yeah, I think that probably was the number at some point. I think it's just short of $1 million though, because they usually get about 100,000 each time they do it. So yeah, and they've been doing it for 10 years.
Since this has come out, he hasn't made an official thing, so it's hard. And like he seemed like a real stand-up guy, and like Brian said, I can understand being in name only. But like a year after knowing, and then having another fundraiser and naming these places.
That's the issue I'm taking with this, is that he's acknowledged. So he claims that he found out a year ago, and if that's the case, that's fine, I guess. But why would you host?
Really
why would you host?
stupid, but
Yeah, why would you? How would you only find out a year ago? But fine. Well, let's just throw them a bone on that one.
The
But why
person
would
who
you
apparently
host
runs
another?
it is his brother, by the way.
yes.
That's even worse.
Well,
But,
it was set up for their mother. After
But,
their mother was diagnosed or died.
However, my main point, what I was getting at, is if you claim, let's say, throw in the bone, you found out a year ago, why would you host another event?
Yeah, it is.
That's the problem I'm having with this, is like, then do something with the money you already have instead of continuing to raise even more funds that will not be allocated appropriately.
Yeah, 100%.
But there's no allegations, there's no proof or receipts of this money going anywhere else.
Well, yeah, that's what I understand, is that what I learned was, I didn't watch the Mudahar videos. I just heard it from I think it was through Critical, and it was just that it is in an account, and that's it. That's all I really understand. What I understand about it. But that's 10 years, dude. Come on. So and the fact that you hosted another event after the fact that you claim to know about, you found out about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can. I don't want to defend someone who's getting money for charity and not giving it to charity.
Yeah.
But if you have a very successful charity run and you do want to help a charity and you haven't found one, you're not going to stop doing the charity drive. Like, I can.
Yeah, but 10 years.
It is fucked up. Yeah, I'm saying about
10
this.
years to figure.
I'm saying more about him knowing for like a year.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and that money, when we hear from Gerard, I want to hear. We need to hear that money has gone somewhere, or it's about to go somewhere, or we're making a deal with this particular person and they're going to get the money. Like, that needs to happen straight away.
Mm.
But I really want to hear his side, because it does not look good for him.
I want to hear his side. I personally just believe that it was unethical to host another event before figuring out where to send the other money. And if he's figuring it out,
say something.
Or say something. So I'm willing to withhold any opinions until I hear his side of it. But that, with the information that has been presented so far, I'm not very thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they should have been far, far more transparent about it.
Yeah.
Isn't it fraud?
Well, charity, when it comes to charity, that's real. I mean, that's something you really just don't want to fuck around with.
In terms of
that's
legality,
without not giving. Well, within. What do you mean?
So, to answer Peachy's question, in terms of legality, no, I don't believe it is fraud, because they haven't done anything else with the money. They haven't done anything
if they pocketed the money, it would be fraud.
But they have said, give us money for charity, and they haven't given that money to charity.
But
legally speaking, because it's in a holding pot, they could still enact that, and they haven't enacted anything that they wouldn't say. So legally, they haven't broken any laws.
I think when it comes to receiving charity funds, if you're specifying that it's for charity, it has to go to charity. Albeit, maybe it might not go to the charity.
So that's what I'm saying. It hasn't not gone to charity. If you know what I'm saying.
I don't think in this case it counts as fraud, because as far as we know, it hasn't been pocketed and used for anything other than that. That's when it is fraud.
Mm.
Yeah, no one has actually suggested it's gone anywhere else yet.
Yeah.
But why?
Why? I might not know the legalities, but I'm not too versed in the legalities about this. But to my understanding, it's not fraud.
After 10 years, you haven't given it to charity. That just sounds like fraud. Even if they haven't pocketed it.
It absolutely does. But I think because they haven't been, they're just. I mean, they're sitting in an account, or at least that's what we're aware of, or what we've been told. But unless they spend it otherwise, or they use it for personal means, then that, I think, is when it's
well, that's definitely fraud.
Yeah,
it's definitely fraud. But I don't think
I'm just saying they've for 10
I think
years,
that
they've collected money
great-
for charity, and it has
Yeah.
not gone to charity.
So
Yeah.
there are things that they could potentially be doing. It could be a tax thing. They could be disclosing how much money they've got in this account, or for whatever reason. There are obviously ways that you can use the numbers to fudge other things to get more money back from other stuff and whatnot. Tax write-offs and such. Could be something to do with that. Ultimately, we have no idea whatsoever right now. We've been told that it's allegedly in this account based on the tax information they've submitted as a charity when they've gone, this is the money that we've raised for a charity. We've yet to give it to aforementioned charity. We ultimately don't know. I think what's going to decide things is obviously they're going to have to be very, very quick with actually picking a charity and finding an outlet for that money to go to. So I think if they do not find one in a timely manner, that tells us one of two things, that they're either fucking around or they don't have the money.
Yeah.
So I think not having money is the worst possible
That's
outcome.
the worst case scenario, and I sincerely hope that's not the case.
I'm trying to hope that that is not the case, and somehow for 10 years they just haven't found the right charity.
I really can't believe that. I
can maybe for a year understand you're trying to find the right charity for $1 million. I can maybe understand that, but it's been there for 10 years. It needs to go out.
Yeah.
When he says his piece, we need to know where this money is going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am 100% with you, because if the money is gone, that's fraud, and that's really bad.
Yeah.
And if they're gonna have to turn up with that money, then that's with hope that they're telling the truth and the money is just in an account. I don't believe that it takes 10 years to find a fucking charity. But hopefully there's something is done. I apologize if you can hear my dog in the background. She's really upset.
Yeah. Again, you would, if you were holding on and looking for the right charity, maybe it is a case that dementia charities in the US are absolutely dog shit, and they are like, oh no,
charities in the US. And I mean, it's the US.
That could by all means be a thing, but even then, you would still tell the people that have donated that money, hi, it is in a holding pot waiting to go somewhere. Do be mindful of that, etc.
I would tell you, I could tell you, because like I used to, not so much recently, but I used to donate to a lot of charities myself, just on my own.
I used to work for UNICEF and Shelter.
I used to work for WWF.
And I used to donate to like ASPCA, HIAS, and like ACLU, and just a bunch. RAIN is a big one. If I found out my money went somewhere other than those, than what they were supposed to go, I would be really fucking pissed.
Yeah.
So that's why if any of these people, it's so easy to register as a charity in the US. That's what I'm trying to say, is like, it's the US. Like, anything could be a charity.
But they haven't registered themselves as a charity. They're not the charity.
No. That's what I meant. Like, about finding a charity. What you were saying about finding a charity. That's why I was like, it's the US. It's kind of, it is sketchy.
It's not 10 years sketchy though. That is
no. I agree. It's 10 years sketchy. However, all I'm saying is, like, if anyone who's donated to them with the expectation that it's gone to a charity, and if they finding out that it's been sitting in an account for 10 years, I think I have every right to be upset.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like, I donated to a lot of charities myself, and you had the expectation that it's going to what it's.
How much interest does $1 million accrue?
Obviously, bear in mind it's only $1 million.
It depends on the account.
Like, the first time that money went in, it was about 100K.
Yeah, if they put it in like an E-Trade or a CD account, that's a lot of interest.
Yeah, but then that's moving the money out of the thing. It's not.
No, I know. Well,
oh God!
I mean,
it's very much.
That would be really fucked up if they put it in an account that can accrue interest.
They're pocketing the interest.
That's actually a good point. That would be.
Oh yeah, there's all the money. It's going there, and then they've walked off.
But then they pocketed like several grand themselves.
I'm pretty sure that's stuff they would have to declare on the tax forms.
Think of that. Oh my God.
Oh right, yeah, they would. So the. Yeah, because they were public.
Yeah.
I hope he says something very, very soon, and within a month that money has gone somewhere.
Yeah. Likewise.
And then we can be like, you're an absolute idiot.
Yeah.
But you're not an asshole.
I am inclined to assume I'm inclined to assume he's an idiot rather than an asshole, because he has done many great things. I'm really hoping
he was just too trusting. So someone just
maybe
said
his
that
brother's the dickhead kind of thing.
If it's your brother, it's kind of hard to like push against, go against family. Like, you would like to think like your family is someone to trust. And if your family's being like, being the shit, it just unfortunately reflects poorly on him.
Yeah.
And either way, it does reflect poorly on him in essence that he should have been aware of what's going on with the funds if he was at the face of it.
His name is still the top dog there, so he is still liable for all of that.
So if his brother screwed him over, yikes.
Yeah.
But you should have known where your money was going.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I'm talking in circles. So
it's the kind of story that is circles until we find something. I am really glad that some Ordinary Gamers and Carl Jorts? No, not George. I watch him all the time. He does Billy Mitchell stuff.
Wasn't it Josh Kolbst or something like that?
No, Carl. Oh, I've forgotten. But yeah. I'm glad the story was broke because maybe something can happen with this $1 million that is just sitting in an account that is destined to go and help.
Is that the name?
Yeah, that's him.
Jobs.
He does like,
Jobs. Sorry.
He did speed running stuff and things on that, and he gets more into the industry now. He's good. Watch him. Check him out.
Shall we do shout outs?
Yep.
Yes, we shall.
No, Pulp.
Hi, I'm Pulp Fictionally. I'm an Instagram alter and variety streamer. You can find me at Pulp Fictionally on everything except for Twitter because someone stole my name. I will be on stream a little bit later this evening to play some Killer Frequency, which is a subscriber requested stream because someone picked up the game for me to check that out. And it's been a minute since we played a little spooky game, but
Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake 2 is fantastic, but that's not a horror game. Anyway.
Sorry, this is your shout out. I'm so sorry.
I'm a terrible person.
You can find me at
I'm a really bad person.
I know
you guys are starting to learn this finally.
I know.
I'm the completionist
Brian.
brother in this situation.
Peachy, you're next.
Hi, I am Peachy Pixelates. I like the Warhammers. I like the video games. You know that if you like Warhammer, we are currently doing a TTRPG over on The Wandering Inn on YouTube. It's Dark Heresy. It is Blood Angels. It's called Fallen. Go check it out. People are really enjoying that, which is great to see. And I stream over on twitch.tv/Peachy Pixelate. I also paint miniatures on Instagram. .com/Peachy Pixel 8 Twitch. Because somebody stole my name. It was me. I can't get an account. Sue me.
It's fine.
I paint stuff.
I knew it was you.
View my Instagram. I'm trying to get to 500 followers before the end of the year, and I'm 24 left with 24 shy. So go follow that if you can. I really appreciate it. Brian.
Just a reminder, Peachy's Instagram is @PulpFictionally. And damn it! And my camera's going.
That's how I got so many
Can you
followers.
spare 24 followers?
I probably could.
Throw them out there.
That's how I got so many followers on Instagram was because I've been routing them to me from.
Damn it!
Yep.
All my pain.
Yeah, Brian. I'm sorry. I didn't.
All good. So thank you to my co-hosts as always for an amazing show. Thank you to you at home watching and listening. If you wish to find more of me, I can be found literally everywhere as Brian the Pirate, Brian with a Y. And also, if you haven't already, become us a Patreon. We've just announced the Patreon. The links are in the chat now if you're watching live.
Can ask us questions. It just helps us not play to algorithms and do the show we want to do, and you can help support that and get involved as well.
Be a patron and Peachy will tell you his foot size.
Exactly. You get to ask us questions, help us with topics, and you'll get access to specials that we'll be doing, such as Peachy showing his Warhammer feat to Pope. That's how it works, right? You just glue miniatures to your feet and go, eat it! Or something like that. I don't know. We'll think of something.
We need to talk about Warhammer.
We need to talk about the lore. But yes.
We need to talk about some Warhammer lore.
Oh, the Warhammer. But thank you all very, very much for watching. Farewell. We'll remember you.
I will.
Bye.